Clippers president Lawrence Frank said he wants Kawhi Leonard and James Harden to remain a part of the team's foundation for next season. Leonard is 33, Harden turns 36 in August. The Boston Celtics overtime loss to New York Monday night should be a lesson for all coaches. The Celtics missed a playoff record 45 three-pointers. At some point, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla should have told his players to stop shooting threes and get closer to the basket. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 and the California Black Chamber of Commerce invite you to the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. Get certified and register as a new bidder. Sell products and services to the state. Learn about pre-bid events and more, and it's all free. All you have to do is sign up at www.calbcc.org. That's www.calbcc.org. Registration for the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, begins at 9 a.m. and the workshop concludes at 1 p.m. on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. This is a community call to action from the California Black Chamber of Commerce and KBLA Talk 1580.
Live from historic Leimert Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit thetavismiley.show.com. That's thetavismiley.show.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, two conversations. Up first, we'll talk about Black Dandyism, the theme of last night's Met Gala. Not sure if you've seen them as yet, but there are 4 different covers of Vogue magazine this month, featuring 4 of the co-chairs of last evening's soiree: Lewis Hamilton, A$AP Rocky, Pharrell Williams, and Coleman Domingo. The Met Gala was also the prelude to a Black Dandyism exhibit called Superfine, Tailoring Black Style, which premieres at the Met Saturday, May the 10th. We will speak with the author of the book Supreme Models, former model himself, stylist, and documentarian Marcellas Reynolds on the top side of Hour 2. On the B side of Hour 2, award-winning automotive journalist Jamie Kitman is back to talk about Slate. Slate, it's the new electric vehicle that's being called the anti-Tesla for EV buyers. Of course, the new Slate electric pickup truck is backed by the other oligarch, Jeff Bezos. But what does it mean for the EV race? And might Slate be the Elon Musk Tesla killer? So now we got a space, we got a war between Musk and Bezos on the EV front. So we'll talk about this new truck, this new electric pickup truck called Slate on the B side of Hour 2. We'll unpack it all with Jamie Kitman. In our third hour,
than honey brighter than the sun, softer than a silk pillow. You're my only one.
That little ditty is called My Darling, My Dear. I'm thrilled about talking to Taj Mahal and KBLA in hour 3 today about their new collaboration, Room on the Porch, which drops later this month. I was just hanging out with Taj Mahal at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, where he killed it. I tell you, Taj killed it. He slayed that thing. Here's a funny story. I had to travel to New Orleans on business, and on the way to the Crescent City, I walked on the plane, put my bag in the overhead compartment, and guess who I'm sitting next to? So you guessed it. I walk on the plane, and since we lost George Duke some years ago, you know who I'm sitting next to, right? The great Stanley Clarke. I walk on the plane. He's in 3A, I'm in 3B, and so I talk all the way to New Orleans to Stanley Clarke. I know for my jazz purist fans, it might be heresy to play that particular track, but I love that song, Sweet Baby, George Duke and Stanley Clarke. But again, it might be heresy to play that given all of his fire bass solos. But when you sit next to Stanley Clarke all the way to New Orleans and he talks your ear off, you know I booked him on the show, right? That's right, he's booked. So Stanley Clarke is coming in studio on May the 14th, I believe, and we'll play some of his fire bass solos then. Okay, so on the way to NOLA, on business, the weekend of the Jazz Festival, I walk on the plane, I'm sitting next to Stanley Clarke. That's the way to the Big Easy. On the flight back home to L.A., I walk on the plane, and somebody's actually sitting in my seat. At 5 a.m., I was not in the mood at 5 a.m. to confront this Negro sitting in my window seat at 3A when they know they were assigned 3B. But I gently tapped the brother on the shoulder, and guess who it was? So on the way back to L.A., I'm sitting next to Kenny Babyface Edmonds, who I argued with for 5 minutes because I want my window seat back. So Kenny now, he's begging me to stay in that window seat. So Kenny and I talked. I let him have the seat. I sat in 3B. We talked all the way back to L.A., and so you know I booked him as well, right? I saw him on the red carpet last night. You probably did as well at the Met Gala. So as soon as he returns from New York, Kenny Edmonds, Babyface, is coming in studio. And speaking of Babyface, you see, when you're on planes, you got to take advantage of these opportunities, right? So speaking of Babyface, this guy has written so many hits for so many artists, including this one.
No matter where we go, and I'm so proud to be with you. I just want to let you know, you got to change your mind, mind.
That's right, I booked him too. This Thursday in our third hour, Johnny Gill live in studio. So in the coming days, Stanley Clarke is here, Babyface is here, and this Thursday, up first, Johnny Gill with a career conversation Thursday in our 11 a.m. hour. I don't miss no opportunities to book these Negroes when I run into them. So it's going to be a great series of music guests over the next few days, next few weeks, starting with Johnny Gill in studio this Thursday at 11 a.m. But back to today's show. In this first hour, when we come forward, let's talk politics with our regular contributor, the towering public intellectual and legendary civil rights attorney, Connie Rice, who actually joins me in studio today. Lord have mercy. Connie is here, and I got some stuff for her the rest of the hour. You're listening, and I'm glad about it, to Tavis Smiley.
And I'm so proud to be with you, so proud to share your love. I wanna say,
California to the Carolinas. Everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
The Comedy Connection series featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number, because Ray, he's going to text it live, and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
BET and PBS, The Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you, when we fight, we win. The Youth Justice Coalition is challenging America's addiction to incarceration and discrimination. YJC works to dismantle policies leading to mass incarceration, law enforcement violence, and the school-to-prison pipeline. Their approach? Transformative justice, community intervention, free LA high school, legal defense, and system monitoring. YJC promotes safety without relying on prisons. Their goal? Prevent system contact and help people exit the system through direct action, advocacy, and education. Want to get involved or need help? Call 323-235-4243. That's 323-235-4243. Join YJC in creating change. When we fight, we win. KBLA Talk 1580, your voice for justice. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
All right, now you know we're going in the days ahead. Let's get this party started today. Delighted to have our, again, regular contributor Connie Rice in the studio. I want to start with this, and there's a whole lot to cover with Connie in this hour. So Donald Trump was on Meet the Press on Sunday. We played some clips yesterday with Maya Wiley in our first hour. Now, Connie Rice is in the studio, and I didn't get to this particular clip yesterday, but it's a perfect setup for Connie Rice. Give it to me, Miles Lowe.
The Trump Organization is selling hats that say Trump 2028.
Yeah.
Are you seriously considering a third term, Mr. President, even though it's prohibited by the Constitution? Or is this about staying politically viable?
I will say this. So many people want me to do it. Mm-hmm. I have never had requests so strong as that. But it's something that, to the best of my knowledge, you're not allowed to do. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's constitutional that they're not allowing you to do it or anything else, but there are many people selling the 2028 hat. But this is not something I'm looking to do. I'm looking to have 4 great years and turn it over to somebody, ideally a great Republican, to carry it forward. But I think we're going to have 4 years, and I think 4 years is plenty of time to do something really spectacular.
The Constitution does prohibit it. Some of your allies are pretty serious about this, though, Mr. President. I've spoken to them. They say they are coming up with potential ways. Well, obviously, the biggest one would be a constitutional amendment.
That's because they like the job I'm doing, and it's a compliment.
Has anyone in an official capacity presented you with, sir, here are some ideas by which you could actually get a constitutional amendment?
Well, in a capacity of being a big supporter, many people have said different things, but I'm not looking at that.
So he's being coy about it. First of all, Connie, it's nice to see you.
Great to see you.
He's being coy about it, but the folk around him are serious about this. And the ultimate question is, I know what the Constitution says, but can they find a way around it?
No. Not constitutionally, but don't forget these folks don't think the Constitution applies to them.
Right.
And you remember he told his voters, don't worry, you won't ever have to vote in another election. Notice the thing that I noticed in that interview, the clip that he said, if there's a good Republican to follow me, that's the conditional. Okay, he didn't say no. I'm just going to do my four. He said if there's a good Republican. So if he doesn't think there's anybody worthy to follow him, and he won't, because nobody is as great as D.T. Barnum, right?
Exactly, D.T. Barnum.
Agent Orange. Nobody can replace him, right? He walks on water. At this point, you saw him in his Pope outfit. He actually thinks he's God's vicar.
Yeah.
So I kind of doubt he's going to find a successor worthy. And just stay tuned. This is more of the fog noise and the distraction, but it's important to focus on it because he does tell you what he's going to do. Yeah,
and that's my point. I think when he tells you something, you got to take him seriously. And this question isn't coming up for no reason. Those hats and those T-shirts that Ms. Welker referenced. And again, he's playing coy about it in this interview, but there are other places where he's been more, been less coy about it, if I can put it that way. So my thing is when this guy says something, you got to take him seriously. And so I hear Connie's point that they can't find a way constitutionally. Certainly a constitutional amendment would do it. Now, I always get these things confused. Some of these votes take 2/3, some take 3/4. It would take, I believe, you'd have to pass this in Congress, and then 2/3 of the states, as I recall, you're the expert, not me, 2/3 of the states would have to put their stamp on an amendment. But I got to look at the map right now to see how many states have Republican legislatures right now. If it's 2/3,
no, it's not going to be 2/3. Let me tell you, that's not happening. I'm going to tell you right now, here and now, he's not going to get 2/3. It's hard to get 2/3 of the states to ratify anything. Yeah,
that's why it doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's why it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
ERA didn't pass in 20 years, and
but they like this guy.
They like
this guy. Yeah,
they like him. 30% of the country likes him. Yeah, and most of the Republican base likes him. They like what he's doing. Yeah. Most of the country doesn't like what he's doing. They agree with him on some of the basic issues, but they don't like the way he's doing it. Yeah. They don't like him shredding the Constitution. They don't like him ignoring court orders. They don't like him snatching people off the street and sending them to El Salvador, including American citizens, by the way, including an American child with cancer. He snatched her off the street and sent her someplace. Yeah. Just think, Tavis, if we're being blooded for disappearance. Argentina and Chile had tens of thousands of their citizens. They're blooding us as they blooded us for fascism over his first term. Get used to the state. Get used to me making outrageous statements. Get used to me talking about military enforcement and shooting BLM protesters in the legs by the military, all that kind of stuff. Now they're blooding us for disappearance and complete abandonment of the rule of law and the protections that the Constitution gives us, including due process, right to fair notice, right to a hearing, right to an attorney, all the stuff that we count on. Now, you and I both know the criminal justice system does not operate well for African Americans. But you try a system that doesn't even have the nominal protections that we can claim. We're not going to do well. Yeah.
So tell me why I shouldn't believe. I know what you said, but just bear with me, though. Again, I got to look at a map. I should have done that before I came on the other day. One of my smart listeners will let me know. But if by the time Trump's term is up, 2/3 of the states are controlled by Republican legislatures, why couldn't they try that play?
They will, and they could. Okay. I'm predicting right now that it wouldn't happen. Right. Yeah.
You mentioned due process. Let me move to that right quick because we're going to make the most of our time. I got a lot to cover with you in this hour. You mentioned due process. In that same interview on Sunday, Meet the Press, Trump was asked directly about whether he needs to uphold the Constitution. And you recall he said, I don't know. I don't know if I have to uphold the Constitution. And in that conversation, they were talking about due process. It was abundantly clear that he does not believe that everyone is, in fact, entitled to due process as the Constitution guarantees, and he's moving in ways that suggest what you just laid out, that he doesn't, again, take that seriously, this notion of due process. How do you read that, and what's the long-term impact of them continuing? It's one thing to do to make one or two moves, but if you fundamentally don't believe that we are entitled to due process and you keep moving that way for the next 3.5 years, how bad is this going to get?
Well, this is all a part of his campaign to end the rule of law. We're supposed to be based on rule of law, not rule of one man. We're not supposed to have a king. The law is supposed to be king in this country. He's trying to turn that on its head. He wants to be the law. And you see him doing it with the Justice Department, corrupting the Justice Department and making it his retaliation instrument, his persecution instrument, and making it, weaponizing the Department of Justice and making sure that it protects his criminality. You're also seeing it in this attack on due process. He's getting us used to normalizing the idea that we're not entitled to it. If the immigrants aren't entitled to it, and the few Americans he's already snatched aren't entitled to it, he's watering it down. He's breaking it down. He's weakening it. And it's all a part of his concerted attack on judges. He wants the judiciary not to be obeyed. He wants to tear down the rule of law because look at what's the only thing slowing him down. The only spike strip in front of him are these judges. And you want to know what he's shocked about is that his Trump judges are ruling against him. He thought he had that wired. He didn't. Hungary's President Orban did, but Trump didn't do that the right way. So bottom line, his attack on due process is part of the dismantling of the rule of law and the protections against tyranny.
Yeah. So we talk all the time, you and I do, about the politicization of our criminal justice system. They can say what they say, but it's politicized. That's probably the first question we ask when we read a story: who appointed the judge? Everybody wants to know who appointed them. So we know that this system, this third branch of government, is in fact politicized. No matter how much we want to deny that. To your point now, which I think is a brilliant point, what do you make of the fact that there are, in fact, a significant number of Trump-appointed judges who have not bent the knee? What's that say to you about them and about the system?
It says more about Trump because his positions are so extreme, even they can't back him.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had, in the Supreme Court, you had 9-0 saying, okay, you got to give him some due process. It's not a lot of due process. This isn't the criminal realm. This is the immigration law realm. And so they're just due. It's not like a full trial. You don't get attorneys. You don't have the right to, you don't have all the rights that you have under Miranda. What you do have a right to is fair notice and a chance to get a hearing to challenge the basis of you being deported. So it's different due process. Due process depends on the context of the law that you're being charged under and what the realm of the law is. Is it criminal? Is it civil? Is it administrative? So folks throw around due process, but it means a lot of different things depending on the context. But what Trump is saying is, I don't have to do anything. I can just snatch you out the street, look at your tattoos, Photoshop MS on your hand and say you're a danger. Declare a gang an enemy. His problem was he used a law that doesn't apply. The Alien Enemies Act. You had to be at war with the country. That's what this country used to round up our Japanese American citizens and put them in Manzanar and other detention camps. And we might be getting ready to do it to our Chinese American citizens if we declare war on China. So keep that in mind. But you can't use this without a declaration of war by Congress. And so he used the wrong statute. He could still deport people, but he needs it. And now President Obama deported 10 times as many people.
That's exactly right.
But they called him the deporter in chief, and civil rights lawyers were not happy with him. He did it legally, though.
Yeah. Two other questions on this I want to push forward. I'm glad I've got Connie in studio for the hour. I want to get to Harvard, where she went to school. There's a new story about Harvard, believe it or not. I'm sick of this story about Harvard, but it's like we'll get to it later. And I want to talk about, Connie always says we got to get our frame right. And she and I were talking off air, which I want to bring on air, these two polls that she and I were discussing, one called Big Grift, the other called Big Brother. Big Grift and Big Brother. We'll talk about that. Stick around. I'll let her unpack it and explain it to you in a moment here. But while we're on, there's two other things right quick in the few minutes I have here now. On the deportation thing, Trump said a couple of days ago that the people elected him to get these people out of here and that the courts are standing in his way. Is he putting too much on that?
Oh, please.
Yeah.
Way too much on that. The man is delusional. You got to understand, morbid narcissist, he's beyond therapy at this point. He is actually so deluded that he actually thinks that, first of all, a majority of the population did not vote for him. He won by 49%. It was a 1% election. He had no mandate to shred the Constitution, although he told us that the Constitution should be terminated. Remember, he did that about 18 months, 2 years ago?
And we still elected him, though.
And the
somebody
country,
did.
Yeah. You can't fix stupid.
Yeah.
So they reelected him, knowing what he was going to do, because they had Project 2025. This is Project 2025 being enacted. Yeah. If you read the 900 pages, and nerd that I am, I have. I can tell you everything that they're doing is in there. Nobody else is going to be stupid enough to read all that crap that I am. I want to know what these people are doing. They told us.
Yeah,
they put it on paper.
They did.
They laid it out for folks.
This is not a pop quiz. It's an open book test,
They gave you the answers to the test.
That's right, open book test.
And you still voted for him.
Yeah.
So, I hope you're enjoying this when you lose your job and your shelves are empty, and hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
You lose your rural medical clinic. Okay, all right. Okay, you wanted this.
So,
no, but they did not elect him to terminate the rule of law. That's not what he ran on. Yeah. He said, I'm going to deport a lot of people. He can't deport the numbers of people that he promised. Yeah. Therefore, he's trying to force self-deportation.
And yet I've not seen polls yet that suggest that those who supported him are disappointed. His poll numbers are in the toilet right now, writ large. But I've not seen numbers as yet that the folk who did, in fact, support him think he's gone too far. How do you read that part?
That 30% of the population is with him no matter what. Yeah. He said, I could kill somebody on Fifth Avenue and they would still vote for me. Yeah. They're part of the cult. Yeah. 58% of the electorate at large does not like the way he's doing immigration. They do not want due process. They don't want people snatched off the street and sent to a prison in El Salvador. Yeah.
You mentioned he's trying to get people to self-deport. This story broke yesterday when I was on the air, and I didn't get a chance to, I raised it, didn't get a chance to talk about it. So here we are about 2 minutes now to let you opine on it. This notion of offering people $1,000 and a free plane ride home to deport. I said yesterday, jokingly, but seriously, you offer me $1,000 to go home. I paid $10,000 to a coyote to get me here. So I'm at a $9,000 hole to begin with. But what do you make of the desperate nature, it seems to me, of that offer? To your point, his numbers are nowhere near Obama's numbers for all the stuff he talked about deportation. But now there are people money to leave. How do you read that?
I think that's probably a smarter idea than what he's doing right now. It's probably more cost effective.
Right.
These snatch raids and using military equipment to fly people down there, that's too expensive. I think paying people, but it's not going to work because he's not going to pay them before they leave, and it's a grift. He's not going to give them the money. Yeah. But this makes more sense economically than trying to do it. He can't deport the numbers because the border is quiet. Obama could deport those numbers because everybody was gathered at the border.
Right.
He can't set up the apparatus to snatch enough people off the street.
By that definition, could we call then all of his big talk successful? That he scared people so much to not come here that the borders are quiet.
Well, the borders were almost empty by the time Kamala Harris started running.
Right.
So they did it too late.
Right.
Bottom line is he's not going to be able to deport as many. He's trying to get folks to self-deport. Not enough people are going to self-deport because they know they can hide long enough.
Sure.
And I just think he's going to run out of time.
Yeah. So a few more things I want to cover with Connie Rice when we come forward in no particular order. The Education Department Secretary has told Harvard, don't even apply for no new grants. Don't even apply. And this story is sort of like yo-yoed. One day Harvard has a spine, and the next day they are spineless, and it's kind of yo-yoed back and forth. We'll talk about that since Connie went to Harvard. Israel obviously has escalated this war in Gaza, and that is horrific. We'll talk about that. And then, again, Connie always has a frame for me to consider, and the frame today is Big Grift and Big Brother. We'll talk about Big Grift and Big Brother and a great deal more when we come forward with Connie Rice on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James is leading a coalition of 19 other attorneys general in suing to block the Trump administration from dismantling the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And since taking office, this administration has fired scientists, closed labs, shuttered life-saving programs without rhyme, reason, or any legal authority.
She called the mass firings illegal, dangerous, and cruel. The Real ID deadline is tomorrow. The Trump administration says all states will need to comply by the May 7th deadline. Real ID is an enhanced security driver's license that will be needed to board any domestic airline flight in lieu of a passport. And it's National Teacher Appreciation Day. In addition, it's also National Nurses Day, marking the first day of National Nurses Week. The weekend's May 12th on the birthday of the late Florence Nightingale, who was widely recognized as the founder of modern nursing. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron is co-chair of the Met Gala event that took place Monday night in New York, but he was unable to attend. LeBron had to stay home in L.A. because of his injured left knee. LeBron has a grade 2 medial collateral sprain in his knee and is facing a 3 to 6 week recovery. No surgery was required. While keeping his knee propped up, LeBron has more time to think about whether he wants to return for a 23rd season. Clippers president Lawrence Frank said he wants Kawhi Leonard and James Harden to remain a part of the team's foundation for next season. Leonard is 33, Harden turns 36 in August. The Boston Celtics' overtime loss to New York Monday night should be a lesson for all coaches. The Celtics missed a playoff record 45 three-pointers. At some point, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla should have told his players to stop shooting threes and get closer to the basket. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. With so many shows on our station weekdays and weekends, it's hard for me to keep track of all the guests who are actually in studio on any given day. I wish I'd known in advance that LADA Nathan Hochman was coming in studio for a recent interview. Had I known, I would have loved to have personally greeted him and then asked him why LA City Council member Karen Price is being criminally prosecuted for allegations of misconduct similar to the conflict of interest violations for which former City Council member Kevin De Leon is only being fined. What's that about, Mr. DA? In fairness to Mr. Hochman, it was former DA George Gascon who actually filed felony charges against Councilman Price. I opined then on how these criminal charges against Price did not pass the smell test. I was concerned then that this was yet another wayward prosecution of a high-profile black elected, not to mention a waste of taxpayer money. I am even more convinced now that this is a hot mess. To be clear, neither you or I want a bunch of self-serving, greedy, conflict of interest criminals managing the people's business inside LA City Hall. But we also don't want selective or targeted prosecution of black politicians. We've seen that movie before, and we don't need a sequel. It's hard to watch Kevin De Leon get away with paying an $18,000 fine for repeated ethics violations, what he calls an oversight, and at the same time, watch the DA's office continue its criminal prosecution of Karen Price for issues allegedly involving his wife's clients. Motions, I might add, that were passed unanimously by the LA City Councilman. What are you saying, Tavis? I'm glad you asked. DA Hochman did not start this inquisition, but he certainly has the power to stop it. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Fundamental fairness. In the absence of fundamental fairness, we experience a cascade of deteriorating conditions. The erosion of trust, the weakening of social cohesion, alienation, marginalization, the legitimacy of authority diminishes, cynicism and disengagement grow, and ultimately, people abandon civic participation altogether. Fundamental fairness, Mr. Hochman, that's all we ask. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You really about to do it
40 acres and a mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with civil rights attorney Connie Rice, our regular contributor, who I'm honored to have in studio. Okay, we got to speed this up. So many things to cover with Connie in this last half hour. Let me start with this. The Education Department Secretary told Harvard yesterday, don't even apply for any new grants. This story has sort of ebbed and flowed. Again, some days Harvard has had spine. Some days they've been milquetoast as this story has developed. But here's my big question. What is this story ultimately about?
This is about a key civil institution, the university sector, because autocrats have to knock down the press. They got to knock down civil society, the rule of law. They got to knock down anything that can oppose them. They don't like elites because they critically think and raise questions. He don't want anybody asking any questions. He wants to be like Putin. So he's got to attack the universities. So Harvard standing up and not rolling over like some of these big law firms did says, okay, no, we're not going along with this. That's important. That's important because now all the other universities are starting to band together. Mm-hmm. You can't fight it one-on-one. You've got to band together as all the universities together, all of the courts together. You've got to stand together, united against an autocrat. So that's the significance of Harvard fighting. They have to take this to court. You are denying us the ability and access to grants based on our First Amendment rights to association, free speech, and the rights to run our own organization the way we want to. Mm-hmm. So that's the significance of it. It's one of the fronts on which you fight tyranny.
He signed, I guess yesterday it was, an executive order that aims today, in fact, he signed this today, an executive order that aims to cut funding for PBS and NPR, public media. We knew that was coming. He promised that as well. Here's my question. We could walk through all these things every 5 minutes he's doing something right. My question is whether or not the damage being done in Trump 2.0 is irreparable. I've had any number of guests of late making comparisons between the Reagan era and the Trump era. Clearly, the Reagan era was horrible for black people, as the Trump era will be. But even beyond us, African Americans, is this damage going to be irreparable? I mean, my sense is that every dismantling, every destruction also presents an opportunity for somebody. I just don't know if we are those somebodies.
I think you're right. Catastrophic destruction, you don't come back from that. Mm-hmm. There are pieces of this we're not going to recover. But since he's raising stuff to the ground, it also presents a chance to usher in an entirely new agenda, entirely new framework, infrastructure for forging a multiracial.
But that's what they want to do as well, though.
No, they want the infrastructure to make sure that there's not a multiracial democracy, but a democracy that only serves them. They don't think that the rest of us are legitimate Americans. Mm-hmm. That's why they didn't want our votes counted. That's why you had the insurrection. It's like the people in the cities should not be able to vote out Donald Trump. They stormed the Capitol, okay? Mm-hmm. So they don't believe that the democracy includes us. Our vision of the democracy is everybody. E pluribus unum. They've got don't tread on me. That's their vision of democracy. Yeah. It's just me. So, and anybody who looks like me. And that's part of the Democrats' problem is that they look like they're trying to give away money to people that these folks don't think are them. Mm-hmm. And the Republicans are only they're giving me benefits, but not to people I don't like. Bottom line, yes, this is an opportunity to come in. We need a vision that was based on King and Malcolm X's and Harriet Tubman's and all of our ancestors who laid out a vision of upward mobility and access and universal opportunity for everybody to be able to become who they're supposed to be. And right now, what we're doing is we're destroying the safety net. We're taking even more rungs out of the upward mobility ladder. This isn't Reagan, I don't think. Reagan was a pussycat compared to this. We're dealing with a saber-toothed tiger at this point. This isn't Reagan. This is like right after the 12 years after Reconstruction when the country said, no, we're going back to slavery light. We're retracting all of the post-Civil War amendments and programs, the Freedmen's Bureau and all those programs that were meant to help recently freed slaves. And we put folks back into what was essentially slavery light. The black codes, Jim Crow, the Klan, the racial terrorism to completely dominate and tyrannize recently freed slaves. We're in, it's not the exact same thing, but it's an echo of that to me more than, it's like post-civil rights. Civil Rights Acts are gone. Voting Rights Act started in the courts, but now it's being done through the Justice Department, and they fired everybody in DOJ with civil rights. They're going to wipe out all those laws. They're not going to enforce them. They've actually flipped it on its head so that it's white men who are the victims of discrimination. They've completely flipped it. So I see it as, okay, you don't want this regime? Let's come in with a regime that actually can achieve real justice.
You and I have discussed this before in a variety of ways. So as you're talking, I'm getting scared, more and more scared by the moment, because this moment does in fact present us an opportunity, as we both agree. Any sort of dismantling or destruction presents an opportunity for somebody to rebuild. I get that. And yet you and I think, will both agree that we are not our ancestors. You ran some names a moment ago. We, with all due respect to us, we are not our ancestors. Are we up for that fight? They were, are we?
Well, if we could stop picking out outfits for galas and playing in boulets and doing image awards, we might be those folks. You know me, Tavis. You want me to destroy the fun. My name is No Fun Connie. Okay, life is serious business, and I don't have time for this frivolity. We're in a war, and y'all are throwing parties.
Yeah,
okay, I
got you.
am not pleased. Okay, got it.
I got it. I'll talk about Black Dandyism when you leave the building, when you leave the studio.
That's right. Okay.
But you did mention insurrection, so Connie would rather talk about insurrection than Black Dandyism. So let me just do that since you mentioned it. The White House has confirmed, this ain't no joke, that Donald Trump did indeed meet with and had a conversation, of course, with convicted seditionist Enrique Tarrio at Mar-a-Lago. Trump told Mr. Tarrio to thank the January Sixers. What do you make of this guy meeting with, at Mar-a-Lago, the guy that helped lead the insurrection at the Capitol, and then telling him in that meeting to thank the January Sixers?
And got convicted for sedition.
Yeah.
You know, this is like white nationalism gone wild. As I texted you, This is what impunity looks like.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's absurd. He invited Enrique Tarrio and I can't even remember his name, Kanye West, to Mar-a-Lago before, and I guess they had an anti-Semitism dinner. But since both of them are anti-Semites, I said, okay, but whatever, you can choose your friends for dinner. But here's the thing. This tells you he is afraid of nobody.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, he's letting it rip, Tavis. He doesn't care. He knows that nobody's going to say anything. Nobody's going to call him on it. Nobody's going to talk about, well, I thought you were against anti-Semitism. Oh, I thought you were against violence. He's inviting a convicted seditionist who violently assaulted the United States Constitution and stormed the Capitol building to his house as a hero. Yeah. And then had all those CEIs of Mar-a-Lago stand up and put their hands over their hearts while they sang the J6 anthem. Corporate titans. They were so confused they didn't know what they were supposed to do. But then there's a bunch of convicts up there singing the J6 anthem. They put that's what you call tyranny. Yeah. So any institutions that's standing up, the law firms that have banded together, there are about 500 of them now. Yeah. They're starting to stand up. They're starting to represent the folks who are being targeted. Chris Krebs, who said the election was fair, he's been targeted. They now have legal representation. We have to stick together. Order of battle, Tavis. What frame are we in? We got to get the order of battle right. We got to fight the right battles first, then we can return to an agenda that's specifically ours.
Speaking of fighting battles, Israel has gone back into Gaza with the intent to not just escalate, but take over the entire area. That is their public pledge. We'll talk about that, and then we'll wrap this conversation talking about these pollers of Big Grift and Big Brother, as only Connie Rice can unpack for us. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. It's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call,
do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality because this is it. Every day, you wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial because yes, it is. Don't stay in bargaining where you're praying for a miracle and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down.
The Comedy Connection series featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number because Ray, he's going to text it live and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Connie Rice, a few more topics to cover in these last 10, 11 minutes here. Let me start with Israel and Gaza. I said to Connie during the break that I am not so sure that if Joe Biden were still in office or Kamala Harris were in office, that they'd be moving much differently than Trump is moving. I mean, never mind the bluster and the rhetoric. In terms of policy, U.S. policy, I don't know that U.S. policy would have changed in any significant or measurable way that would stop Bibi and Israel from doing what they're doing right now. You disagree?
I don't think they would have stopped them. I think you would have seen a different reaction to these steps. At least Biden was at least trying to get the war to end. Trump doesn't care.
Right.
Trump doesn't care. He's going to license Netanyahu to do whatever he wants. The problem now is that Israel, which had a right to defend itself and had a right to respond October 7th, has had such an excessive overreaction, almost psychotic level of counter-effective strategy. Even if you could eliminate Hamas by killing 70,000 and just blowing the whole place up. But even their counterinsurgents and military experts said, this is not how, shock and awe doesn't get terrorist groups. You got to do it targeted, and you got to do it with small counterinsurgency groups like what got bin Laden. So even the strategy was, they were told you can't do this with nation-state war. It's an overreaction. And the problem is it's going to unleash another wave of 9/11 attacks in this country. That's what's going to be the result.
I was just about to ask you what the blowback is to us for Donald Trump sanctioning and amening everything that Bibi says.
You just watch. Just watch. There's only so much people can take.
Yeah.
And the the terrorism had died down. You didn't see the attacks. So what we're doing is we're buying a whole new boatload of 9/11 trouble.
Yeah. Here's a funny story. That story obviously is anything but funny, but I laughed when I saw this headline that Donald Trump now wants to reopen Alcatraz. What do you make of that?
He probably saw a movie.
He saw Clint Eastwood.
He saw Clint Eastwood and The Rock. That's how he makes policy. He can't read, so
he can't read, so he watches movies.
TV.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, that's a good idea." Tavis. It's like giving a toddler a flamethrower. He just flee it over, burning up everything he doesn't like. A malevolent toddler.
Connie said he's watching Clint Eastwood, Sean Connery, and Nick Cage, and decided, oh, that's a good idea. Let's open Alcatraz. Guantanamo Bay ain't enough. We'll open up Guantanamo Bay and Alcatraz. Our remaining moments with Connie Rice, we'll talk about Big Grift and Big Brother. I love the way that Connie gets us to think about the frame that we are in, and she'll unpack those two polls when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit AudienHearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Why'd I go to the doctor? My heart would race just taking my son to practice. It didn't feel right. So I got checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
You are indeed with Connie Rice for the next 4.5 5 minutes. There is breaking news. You recall when Zelensky of Ukraine, Connie, came to the Oval Office and Trump Trump and Vance, they just piled on him and humiliated him. But they just tried that with Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, who's in the White House as we speak right now. Connie, the Prime Minister of Canada, just told Trump to his face in those famous yellow chairs that they sit in that some places are not for sale. That's a quote. Some places are not for sale. Trump shot back at him, never say never. So now he's insulting another world leader in the Oval Office. But at least Connie said to him to his face, some places are not for sale. Trump responds, never say never. There's a story. We'll talk about this, I'm sure, tomorrow. There'll be all kind of news about this fight in the Oval Office with another world leader. I digress for now. I got 4 minutes left. It goes to Connie Rice. Talk about this frame. There's so many issues like this that are weapons of mass distraction. Exactly. But Connie says that this is the real frame. Big grift, big brother. You got 3.5 minutes. Take it away.
Tavis, forget about invading Panama, annexing Canada, attacking university, all that stuff, that fog machine, the cat laser stuff, DEI, all that stuff is to direct our attention, as you said, mass distraction, away from what they're really doing. Here's the big thing. Since he's come into office in since November, the Trump family has made $2.9 billion with a B dollars. That's the big grift. This is about not only, when he says no, don't say never, he's put a huge for sale sign on the entire United States of America. And his family is raking it in. His sons are over in there getting $1 billion hotel in Saudi Arabia and Dubai. That's at least $3 billion right there. And the Republicans had aneurysms over Biden's son, his laptop, and selling those pitiful paintings for what, 20 cents? And then remember Billy Carter had some beer with his picture on it. Hey, Dems can't even do corruption at the right level. You're gonna do corruption, go big, get $2.9 billion like this. That's the big grift. They are fabulous grifters. There's nobody better in the con man grifter business. Take over an institution, rake it for all you can, for all the money you can, put it in your pockets and go. Inside trading, all that tariff, tax, don't call it tariffs, it's the Trump tax. So call it tax tariffs. Trump tax tariffs, he's probably made money off of that because as he goes up and goes down, they can sell and buy stocks and make a killing on the insider trading and told the DOJ, don't prosecute inside trading. That's the big grift. This is about money. The second thing, and this is even more important, Big Brother. When the Doge brothers with their chainsaws went into all those agencies, they didn't care about cutting and firing people. That was the fog. That was the cat laser, laying people off and making traumatizing federal workers. That was the fog. The signal, that was the noise. The signal, the real deal, was that they were taking the laptops and loading up all of our biometric data, Social Security data, all of our credit data, all of our medical data. They're taking the databases from labor, from HHS, from IRS, from everywhere, all of our data, and breaking down all the privacy silos that protect our data from being used against us. They're putting into one big, massive database that will give them an instrument of control. Remember, East Germany could control its people because they had everybody spying on each other. They knew everything about you. They knew when you sneezed and needed a tissue because they had Big Brother's eyes on everything that's about you. All that census data, they can tell which child was born in the United States and which wasn't. They can target your house to come raid. So Big Brother, the big eye, surveillance state capitalism, that's what this is really about. Big grift, Big Brother. There's your frame. Big grift, Big Brother. Don't be distracted by these weapons of mass distraction. She told you earlier in this hour that she don't play. I got to talk about Black Dandyism in the next hour. As a matter of fact, I think Connie quit. I think she quit kindergarten. She told her teacher, I don't play. She quit kindergarten, told the teacher, I don't play. And then, true story, she got kicked out of the Brownies. I know that story, Connie. So she doesn't play. So I'm going to let her go while I talk about Black Dandyism at the top of the next hour and a great deal more as we move through the rest of this show. Connie, I love you. There ain't nothing you can do about it. Hey, love you back.
More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Black New York Attorney General Letitia James is leading a coalition of 19 other attorneys general in suing to block the Trump administration from dismantling the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
And since taking office, this administration has fired scientists, closed labs, shuttered life-saving programs without rhyme, reason, or any legal authority.
She called the mass firings illegal, dangerous, and cruel. The Real ID deadline is tomorrow. The Trump administration says all states will need to comply by the May 7th deadline. Real ID is an enhanced security driver's license that will be needed to board any domestic airline flight in lieu of a passport. And it's National Teacher Appreciation Day. In addition, it's also National Nurses Day, marking the first day of National Nurses Week. The weekend's May 12th on the birthday of the late Florence Nightingale, who was widely recognized as the founder of modern nursing. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron is co-chair of the Met Gala event that took place Monday night in New York, but he was unable to attend. LeBron had to stay home in L.A. because of his injured left knee. LeBron has a grade 2 medial collateral sprain in his knee and is facing a 3 to 6 week recovery. No surgery was required. While keeping his knee propped up, LeBron has more time to think about whether he wants to return for a 23rd season. Clippers president Lawrence Frank said he wants Kawhi Leonard and James Harden to remain a part of the team's foundation for next season. Leonard is 33, Harden turns 36 in August. The Boston Celtics' overtime loss to New York Monday night should be a lesson for all coaches. The Celtics missed a playoff record 45 three-pointers. At some point, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla should have told his players to stop shooting threes and get closer to the basket. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 and the California Black Chamber of Commerce invite you to the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. Get certified and register as a new bidder. Sell products and services to the state. Learn about pre-bid events and more, and it's all free. All you have to do is sign up at www.calbcc.org. That's www.calbcc.org. Registration for the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, begins at 9 a.m. and the workshop concludes at 1 p.m. on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. This is a community call to action from the California Black Chamber of Commerce and KBLA Talk 1580.
1, 2, make you wanna.
Okay, now have you ever been with a player? Take you downtown where they treat me like the mayor. Take you to the crib where you take it upstairs. What's upstairs? I'ma show you later. Don't need a spatula, everything catered. Extra flavor. Go ahead, sprinkle some truffle on your.
I'm Tavis Smiley. Welcome to hour 2 of our program today. In this hour, as promised, 2 conversations on the backside of this hour. Award-winning automotive journalist Jamie Kitman is back to talk about Slate. Slate is the new electric vehicle that's being called the anti-Tesla for EV buyers. Of course, the new Slate electric pickup truck is backed by the other oligarch, Jeff Bezos. So what does it mean for the EV race, and might Slate be the Elon Musk Tesla killer? We'll talk about all of that with Jamie Kitman on the B-side of this hour. We commenced this hour talking about Black Dandyism, the theme of last night's big Met Gala. Not sure if you've seen them as yet, but there are 4 different covers of Vogue magazine this month, featuring 4 of the co-chairs of last evening's soiree: Lewis Hamilton, A$AP Rocky, Pharrell Williams, and Coleman Domingo. The gala was the prelude to a Black Dandyism exhibit called Superfine Tailoring Black Style, which premieres at the Met this Saturday, May the 10th. In a moment, we'll talk to the author of the book Supreme Models, former model himself, stylist and documentarian Marcellas Reynolds. We'll talk to Marcellas in just a second here after I give you some sound from one of those co-chairs, namely Coleman Domingo, speaking yesterday about all of this.
God created black people, and black people created style. I stand here representing so many generations of men who have liberated themselves in style. I stand here representing my fellow Met Gala co-chairs, A$AP Rocky, Pharrell Williams, Lewis Hamilton, LeBron James, and Anna. Dear Anna, I thank you. I stand here on the shoulders of Andre Leon Talley, of Bayard Rustin, of Dapper Dan, of Oswald Boateng, of Sidney Poitier, Prince, Harry Belafonte, James Baldwin, and so many others. There's a quote from the great George C. Wolfe that I love to share. It is a statement about the influence and impact of Black culture in individuals on fashion and style. The quote is often used to highlight the creative and innovative spirit of Black people in shaping trends in fashion. God created Black people, and Black people created style. You will see that and so much more with this great exhibit curated by my new friend, Monica L. Miller. I thank you, Andrew Bolton, for having me. There is so much talent on display, and I hope that you will enjoy, interrogate, and share this year's Costume Institute exhibit. And I thank you, Oswald Boateng, for this morning suit. What a beautiful morning.
That was Coleman Domingo yesterday morning in advance of the big Met Gala last night. So, Marcellas, you heard Coleman quoting George C. Wolfe that God created Black folk and Black folk created style. Can I get an amen?
Not one lie detected. Amen. Coleman just took me to church. You know, I'm the son of a preacher man, and I'm up here like waving my pocket square in the air, saying hallelujah.
let me just go right in. Have we? There's so many ways and so many spaces and places in which Black people have been denied. Number one, but when we do get entree into these spaces and places to show what we can do, we don't get the respect that we deserve. Have Black people been given the respect they deserve for the style they've created?
No. They constantly take from us. They constantly use us. They constantly abuse us. And then they view everything that we do as second class. And even we as a people do that. That's why we don't buy Black first. That's why money in our community doesn't circulate as it does in other communities. So, yeah, we're still dealing with this idea that, like, something that's Black or Black-generated isn't as good. But what we know from looking at them and the way they co-op our style, our joie de vivre, everything about us, that's not true.
Yeah. I'm with you. Coleman took me to church as well. I love that line that he used. I want to get you to unpack it as you interpret it. I love that line he used that Black people, so many Black people have liberated themselves in style. And he called the names of some greats who have liberated themselves in style. How did that statement, that line fall on you, Marcellas Reynolds?
Black fashion is about liberation. Black fashion is armor. Black fashion is something that we use to show people, usually white people, who we are and what we believe without even speaking. So when he said that, I was like, amen, because that's what we've always done. We've always been able to take the scraps that we've given and make them into something extraordinary.
Yeah. You wrote the book, so who better to ask than you? How would you define, before I push forward here, how would you define Black Dandyism? What does that mean to you?
Oh, okay. I got a whole thing. So
Okay.
I define Black Dandyism as using fashion to express style, panache, and joy in the face of oppression. Black Dandyism is steeped in the cultures of Africa, Jamaica, Haiti, anywhere that Black people are from, and that includes the American South, unfortunately. And Black Dandyism is about expressing love, pride in oneself, and it's always about optimism through fashion.
Oh, I love that. I love that definition. Our guest is Marcellas Reynolds, documentarian, stylist, former model, award-winning author of the Supreme book trilogy. It's not just Supreme Model; it's a whole trilogy, and it is one of the most beautiful trilogies of books I've ever seen. I mean, just the photos, the design, the cover, everything about it. I love the work of Marcellas Reynolds. I'm glad to have him on this program to talk about the big Met Gala last night, and more to the point, what it means now to be celebrating 300 years of Black fashion. More of this conversation when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Can you dig it? Come on!
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. Baby! KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their program. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The Comedy Connection series featuring KBLA's Zoe Williams, the voice of reason, and the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady. We're going to transform relationship disasters into stand-up material live at Inglewood's Miracle Theater on May 31st at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. My clinical team will disclose all of your dating woes, while the alpha male of comedy, Ray Grady, has hand-selected supremely talented comedians to roast all of our tragic relationship choices. I dare you to bring your ex's phone number, because Ray, he's going to text it live, and the crowd will be sourcing emojis. Tickets are moving swiftly, so don't hesitate to grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before I diagnose your dating history as a pre-existing condition.
And the top-rated African-American talk show host in the nation, according to Talkers Magazine. You're tapped in with Tavis Smiley right now.
Tavis Smiley and Marcellas Reynolds, who I'm honored to have on this program. He's the guy behind the Supreme book trilogy, including one called Supreme Models. Miles, go on the mic right quick before I go back to Marcellas. So Marcellas, Miles, my board op and I were talking during that break a moment ago, and I was surprised, actually. I know Miles, to be into music, et cetera, and into fashion to some degree, but I was actually shocked at the people that he was shouting out that he saw on the red carpet last night. I didn't know you were checking out fashion like that, Miles.
I keep my eye to the streets. Yes, sir.
I didn't know you did that. So we were talking. Bring Marcellas up. Yeah. So Marcellas, we were talking about celebrities struggling every year at this Met Gala to really understand the dress code. And I was saying to Miles, I thought some people got it, but I thought a whole lot of people, it's Black Dandyism, but I thought a lot of people last night struggled and missed understanding what the dress code was all about. But so Miles was giving me some of the people who he thought got it, that he liked. So give me some names that you liked last night on the red carpet.
Oh, man, we discussed, I really like Zendaya. Zendaya killed it.
She killed it, yeah, okay.
I'm a big fan of how Lewis Hamilton came out there. He looked real nice. Mm-hmm. Tiana Taylor was incredible. Lupita Nyong'o, she had like a Tiffany blue that like complemented her skin perfect. That was incredible, man. Yeah.
So that's some of the list that people that Miles liked last night. Marcellas, what did you, before you get to people that you actually liked, to the point I made a moment ago, do you think that writ large, those celebrities on the red carpet got it last night, or did they miss it?
I think part of the joy of the Met Gala is the people that miss it. You don't want everybody to get it right. I need somebody to drag to filth. I need somebody to get it absolutely all the way wrong. so I could like take them to the streets. You know what I mean? So I love it when they get it wrong. And it was a tough night because menswear tailoring is really the theme, and it's like, how do women interpret that?
Right.
So that was really tough, and a lot of people struggled with that.
Yeah. So did you see anything that you liked last night?
Oh, I saw so much that I liked. The emergence of Lauryn Hill, and she wore Jude Donta, who is a Ghanaian designer, and she did this whole yellow thing, and she had a gentleman with her who was holding a parasol over her head. It was unbelievable. And anytime I see Lauryn Hill, I'm like, when you dropping the next album? It's been like 30 damn years, and I'm still waiting for like the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill Part 2. You know what I mean?
I got you.
But she looked amazing. Janelle Monáe, who has been a dandy her entire life because she's always doing that menswear thing. She wore Tom Brown, and she did like an outfit change in the middle of the carpet, and it was unreal. Then a lot of the guys got it right. I really agree with what Miles said. There was a couple of J Balvin who wore Marc Jacobs. It was like a nod to the Zoot suit. Mm-hmm. And being from if you're from California, there was like this whole thing that was the Zoot Suit riots that was black and Latino people against the police because the Zoot Suiters were supposed to be, partiers and drug addicts and blah, 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 but they were like dandies. Mm-hmm. They dressed up and they showed out, you know what I mean? And they were going out and hanging out, and it's such a part of the history of California. The best thing I saw last night, though, was Diana Ross showed up the first time in like 20 years.
That was the longest train. That was the longest train, Marcellas, I have ever seen in my life. That train went for it's like 3 or 4 New York City blocks, I think.
You are an icon. You are Diana Ross. You are arguably the most famous person at that thing. You better show up like that. Yeah. And what was so great about that is it was a Nigerian designer. Yeah. And if you looked at that train, it had all the names of her children and her grandchildren embroidered on that train. Yeah. That's what black folks bring to everything. Yeah. Like, we think stuff through, and it has meaning. You know what I mean? It like means something. No. So when Diana came and shut it down, I was like, yes, Miss Ross.
The boss shut it down last night. Yeah, that train, like I said, it was 2 or 3 New York City blocks, I think. It just went on and on and on.
Speak from Motown. It took 8 people to get that train. Like,
8. We're talking about the Met Gala last night. The theme last night was Black Dandyism, and all kinds of black folks showed up at the gala last night. And if you haven't had a chance yet, you want some fun today, just Google the photos from the Met Gala last night, and you'll be tickled and inspired, I think, by some of the stuff that you'll see. But I do it every year. I just look at all these photos to see who did what. Now, here's my question. You didn't say it, and Miles didn't say it. What about Andre 3000 with that piano on his back, man?
I was waiting for you. I was literally waiting for you to say who didn't you like, because he's number 1 on my list.
Yeah, okay.
He bought it was Burberry and Wurlitzer. He bought a whole piano strapped to his back. I said, well, is he playing at some point in the evening? Is he going to take it off and like bang out a tune or something?
If you had go ahead, Marcel. Go ahead.
That brings a whole new definition to husking out on the street. Is he just gonna go out there and put the hat down and like start playing his greatest hits on the piano? But I guess he did release a new EP, and it's a piano driven.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay.
No, I get it.
Go off, Andre.
Yeah. So when you Google these photos from last night, you have to make sure whatever you do that you find the photo, ladies and gentlemen, of Andre 3000 with this piano literally on his back as part of his design.
A whole grand piano strapped to his back. That's commitment.
I like that. It was commitment to carry that thing around all night on your back like that. So let me just ask you a broad question, and I got some more specific questions as we move forward here. So I mentioned a moment ago that last night was really about celebrating 300 years of black fashion. Talk to me about what we have accomplished, what we've done, the impact we've had, the imprint we've made. Talk to me any way you want about what it means to have been doing this, as only we can do it, for 300 years now.
American fashion is black fashion. If you think back to slavery, who was sewing those outfits that the owners and the overseers were wearing. It was black people. It's all about this idea of taking, let's just speak on the American South and how we as black people navigated that and even our lives after slavery. And we use fashion to show status. We use fashion to show freedom. We use fashion to show joy in the face of oppression. Clothing is so much more to black people than it is to anybody else. It's literally like armor. If we're dressed well, we get treated better. If we're dressed poorly, we get treated worse. You know what I mean? My grandmother used to say when she would see me dressed up, she'd be like, "Oh, you're gonna be the best dressed," not say the word, in the po house. And it's like, I learned it from you. You up in Neiman Marcus like buying furs, like you know, you dressing for Sunday at church.
Yeah.
And it was dressing to keep up with the Joneses. It was dressing to keep up with the people. It was dressing to be treated with respect. You know, I grew up in a household where my grandmother had multiple furs, and when times got hard, she would take her furs to the pawn shop.
Yeah.
You know, and the black community clothing was commerce because we couldn't own homes because of redlining and Jim Crow. So what could we own? We could own what was on our back. So my grandmother would be like, "Buy me jewelry, buy me a fur, buy me something I could hawk."
I never thought about black fashion as commerce, but I take your point. I take your point in that way. I'm looking at all these messages coming through, and now we have listeners who are sending us photos of their favorites. I'm looking at one, and he was pretty sharp. Lakeith Stanfield last night, Marcellas, he put it down last night with that outfit he had, and that white hat and that long tail he had. The actor Lakeith Stanfield.
I wanted to see that. I wanted to see tails. I wanted to see hats. Dandyism is about the accessories. Dandyism is about brooches. It's about ties. It's about pocket squares. It's about a cane. It's about rings. You know what I mean? It's about a hat cocked in the right way.
Yeah. I saw the photo of Norm Nixon and Debbie Allen. He had his hat cocked just right last night, as did Kenny Leon, the Tony winner. I saw him on the red carpet last night. So there were a lot of different looks last night, as there are every year. But this year, black folk had their say, given that the theme once again was Black Dandyism. I did think last night watching this though, when they announced this, and I was actually reading about this, Marcellas, when they announced many months ago that the theme for the gala this year, the Met Gala last night, was going to be Black Dandyism. They announced that in a frame where people thought that Kamala Harris might be the next president of these United States. And that's what they thought when they made that announcement. It didn't turn out that way. So here we are now talking about Black Dandyism in a moment where the political frame is anything but. The political frame has us living in a country right now where they are turning the tide, overturning, U-turning, pick your phrase, anything and everything that has black or DEI written on it. So I thought about that last night, the frame in which we were celebrating Black Dandyism. What do you make of that notion?
I think first of all, I think it's sad, you know, and I think it's true, and I think it's, again, taking the wins, taking the talent, taking the love of black people and turning it on itself or turning it against itself. I think that it is a particularly meaningful and emotional Met Gala. I got teary-eyed at a couple of points last night because it's a community that has always been at risk, and now we need help, black fashion, more than we ever need. When you're taking us out of Target and you're pulling us out of stores after the gains we made after the pandemic and after George Floyd, now it's like all of that is reversed, right? And it's like, if we don't, nobody's going to take care of us. And I think black people have always been very clear on that. We've always sort of known that. But now they're saying the inside thing outside. So now we have to really focus on taking care of ourselves. We have to really focus on supporting our businesses, supporting things that are black. I'm not worried about the Met. I'm worried about the African American Museum in D.C.
That's it. You put your finger on that one, brother. Marcellas Reynolds, he nailed that one. Let me. I mentioned Kamala because, again, when they made this announcement, people thought that she'd be the next president, and so the Black Dandyism thing would have fit right in. Again, they did their thing last night. Never mind the frame politically that we find ourselves in. But we talked earlier about the people who hit last night and the folk who missed. I don't think Kamala Harris got it last night. She did not walk the red carpet. She did stand for a photo shoot prior to going to the gala, but she did not walk the red carpet last night. But what I didn't think she killed it last night. What did you make of her outfit last night?
I didn't think she killed it, but she was in a sort of, excuse the expression, damned if she does, damned if she doesn't space.
Right.
Where she really nailed it and really went like for it, then people would have talked about her like she had a tail.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that she played it safe. But I think the bigger piece that was missed was I would have loved to seen her walk the red carpet, because the overwhelming expression of love for her in that moment from the press, from the celebrities, from everybody there, I think that would have been a real moment in the face of where we are right now. I hope that she doesn't feel like a failure, because she is not. You know, and I think that these opportunities that are big and public, where people can give her flowers and give her love, she should take every one of those, because she deserves a victory walk.
I don't disagree with that assessment, and yet I know politics, and I have a good understanding of why she didn't walk that carpet last night, because there are some things that you can see before they even arrive that are going to be used against you. If you're a politician and you're trying to serve the people, and then your opponents have you walking the red carpet at this glitzy, glamorous, elite affair, you see how that gets used against you down the road.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they always use, things against black people.
Yeah.
So they going to say, oh, she went to the Met Gala.
That's
but
right.
This wonderful child of God in the White House is trying to spend $10 million on a military parade for himself.
Yeah.
Okay, make it make sense.
Yeah, I get it. I take it. Let me close with this. I got about 90 seconds left, and I'll give it to you. Talk to me again about these 300 years of black fashion, and black fashion as black defiance, because we talked earlier about, quoting Coleman Domingo, that many people have liberated themselves in style. Black folk have liberated ourselves in style. There's a way in which, and I noted this last night as I watched it, that black fashion can be seen as black defiance.
Mm-hmm. We survive and we survive and we survive.
Marcellas, your phone. There you go. You're back. Say that again. We lost you for a second.
We survive and we survive and we survive, and we also thrive, and we do it while looking good.
Yep.
Sometimes when things are hard, we make it look so effortless, we make it look so good, and that's because of the style that is innate to us. That's because of the swag that we are born with out of the womb.
Yeah.
And that's from the ancestors.
Yep. Marcellas, I want to give this last 45 seconds to you. Say a word to this audience about the Supreme Book Trilogy, and say a word about the documentary airing right now on Netflix. Push your stuff, man. Push it.
The Supreme Models documentary is beautiful. It's the history of the black model in fashion. It's her struggle, and it actually mirrors the struggle of the black woman, I think, in the workplace. The Supreme book series is just the first ever art book series to tackle the black woman and her impact on culture. There are no black beautiful books in that space. And I saw that hole, and I went to the hoop and tried to fill it. And I think they're reasonably priced, and it's the kind of book that you give to a young black girl so that she can see herself beautifully represented in that form, and she can use it as a space to dream, because anything is possible.
Now, you didn't just go to the hole, man. You went to the hole and you slammed it like Daryl Dawkins. That's a throwback. You slammed it like Daryl Dawkins of the 76ers back in the day. I invite you to check out Marcellas Reynolds' Supreme Book Trilogy. It's an amazing piece of work. I have them all in my office, in my library, and I suggest you do the same. And the Supreme Models documentary, heretofore reference, is airing right now on Netflix. Marcellas Reynolds, I thank you for your work, for your witness, and for this conversation, sir, about Black Dandyism.
I'm so honored to talk to you every single time, sir. You mean so much to me and to the community.
I feel the same way about you. Thank you for your time. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says he's not sure what Canada's Prime Minister wants to talk about when the two meet.
I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to speak with President Trump at the White House today. This will be Carney's first trip to Washington since he was elected last week. British Nigerian nursing student Elizabeth Tamilore Odunsi, 23 years old, was fatally stabbed in her Houston apartment just days before graduation. Her roommate, Chester Grant, was charged with her murder after an argument, reportedly over their cats. Grant was booked into jail after a failed suicide attempt and charged with murder. And Floyd Mayweather is suing Business Insider for $100 million, claiming defamation over a report that questioned a major real estate deal he was linked to. He says the article was false and damaging to his reputation. Business Insider has responded, calling the lawsuit meritless and vowing to defend its reporting. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron is co-chair of the Met Gala event that took place Monday night in New York, but he was unable to attend. LeBron had to stay home in L.A. because of his injured left knee. LeBron has a grade 2 medial collateral sprain in his knee and is facing a 3 to 6 week recovery. No surgery was required. While keeping his knee propped up, LeBron has more time to think about whether he wants to return for a 23rd season. Clippers president Lawrence Frank said he wants Kawhi Leonard and James Harden to remain a part of the team's foundation for next season. Leonard is 33, Harden turns 36 in August. The Boston Celtics' overtime loss to New York Monday night should be a lesson for all coaches. The Celtics missed a playoff record 45 three-pointers. At some point, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla should have told his players to stop shooting threes and get closer to the basket. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. With so many shows on our station weekdays and weekends, it's hard for me to keep track of all the guests who are actually in studio on any given day. I wish I'd known in advance that LADA Nathan Hochman was coming in studio for a recent interview. Had I known, I would have loved to have personally greeted him and then asked him why LA City Council member Karen Price is being criminally prosecuted for allegations of misconduct similar to the conflict of interest violations for which former City Council member Kevin De Leon is only being fined. What's that about, Mr. DA? In fairness to Mr. Hochman, it was former DA George Gascon who actually filed felony charges against Councilman Price. I opined then on how these criminal charges against Price did not pass the smell test. I was concerned then that this was yet another wayward prosecution of a high-profile black elected, not to mention a waste of taxpayer money. I am even more convinced now that this is a hot mess. To be clear, neither you or I want a bunch of self-serving, greedy, conflict of interest criminals managing the people's business inside LA City Hall. But we also don't want selective or targeted prosecution of black politicians. We've seen that movie before, and we don't need a sequel. It's hard to watch Kevin De Leon get away with paying an $18,000 fine for repeated ethics violations, what he calls an oversight, and at the same time, watch the DA's office continue its criminal prosecution of Karen Price for issues allegedly involving his wife's clients. Motions, I might add, that were passed unanimously by the LA City Councilman. What are you saying, Tavis? I'm glad you asked. DA Hochman did not start this inquisition, but he certainly has the power to stop it. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Fundamental fairness. In the absence of fundamental fairness, we experience a cascade of deteriorating conditions. the erosion of trust, the weakening of social cohesion, alienation, marginalization, the legitimacy of authority diminishes, cynicism and disengagement grow, and ultimately, people abandon civic participation altogether. Fundamental fairness, Mr. Hochman, that's all we ask. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Jamie Kitman here in just a second. Before I get to Jamie Kitman, though, I didn't get a chance to raise this with Marcellas Reynolds in our conversation just a moment ago about Black Dandyism, the theme of last night's big Met Gala. But he made the point in that conversation, Marcellas did, that they take our stuff and then they find ways to demean us and talk about us. So Megyn Kelly has publicly blasted Anna Wintour of Vogue magazine, the host of the Met Gala every year. She's blasted her publicly now for what she calls hyper pandering and black tokenism last night. It don't take long, right? So you can't celebrate 300 years of black fashion and just let it be that. 300 years of black fashion celebrated last night at the Met Gala, whether you're into that or not. But it doesn't take long for Megyn Kelly to come out and to refer to last night as hyper pandering and black tokenism. That's what Marcellas was talking about. So that's why you just do what you do, and you do it with grace and with style, no matter what they say, because they're going to say it anyway. But Megyn Kelly can, well, I ain't going to say that. Anyway, you know what she can do. Jamie Kitman is with us. Glad to have him back. Award-winning automotive journalist. And I invited him on today to talk about, for a few moments here, Slate. Slate is the new electric vehicle that's being called by some the anti-Tesla, say that fast 3 times, the anti-Tesla for EV buyers. Of course, the new Slate electric pickup truck is backed by the other oligarch, Jeff Bezos. So what does it mean for the EV race? And might Slate be the Elon Musk Tesla killer? Jamie Kitman, good to have you back. How are you, sir?
I am well. How are you, Tavis?
Man, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate. I am doing well, and always delighted to be in conversation with you. So I want to make the most of our time here. Tell me, I got some questions for you, but tell me about this new EV that Bezos is behind called Slate.
Yes. Well, I mean, that news only just came out very recently, although his investment of $100 million was over a year ago. But it is a lightweight, compact pickup truck that comes in one color, and it has a very cheap point of entry, which is a major distinction between it and the Cybertruck, which is enormously expensive. I mean, like double, triple, quadruple what this truck costs. So, I mean, as a vehicle, it seems interesting. Of course, nobody's driven it who's not with the company yet, but the news of Bezos' investment improved its fortunes mightily, because while there is a real demand for small pickup trucks, which used to be regular, I mean, you're in L.A., but you can't drive around in L.A. and not see dozens of them any given day, from the 80s and 90s, trundling around still hard at work, with, gardeners and landscapers and things like that. So it's the car is almost diametrically opposed to the Tesla Cybertruck, which is big, heavy, expensive, and quite show-offy, whereas this is it's pleasant, but not. It doesn't make a real huge statement about how rich you are, because in fact it's aimed at buyers who make less than $100,000 a year, which most new cars and most new pickup trucks aren't. But in terms of Bezos' involvement and versus Musk, I mean, it's an interesting new dimension in the billionaire wars. And pardon my French, but it's much cheaper to engage in a dick waving contest when you're investing $100 million versus sending rockets to Mars, which is hundreds of billions of dollars. So, and while Bezos' Blue Origin, rocketry company lags, sadly behind SpaceX, Musk's company, this, I think, has a real shot at winning a fight with Musk, certainly on the limited market, of pickup trucks, but also, seems a lot greener and, could actually be a useful addition to the marketplace. I mean, people have been calling for such cars for quite a while.
Yep. They have been, but this really isn't a car. As we said, it is a pickup truck. And I saw this story developing some days ago, and I knew you were going to come on the program. I thought to ask you, as I will right now, whether or not the audience of people who actually drive pickup trucks are into the green thing. Are they into the EV thing, the people who actually drive those pickup trucks that you referenced earlier?
Well, I think certainly a significant percentage of them might be. I mean, the truth is that pickup trucks have been getting bigger and heavier and taller and more dangerous to pedestrians and other motorists for years. And today's so-called mid-sized or compact pickup truck from GM or Ford or Toyota is bigger than their full-size pickup trucks of 25 years ago, with no particular advantage. They don't carry more stuff necessarily. They might carry heavier stuff, but they have less room in their beds because they now have seating for 5 or 6, and they're so tall. The thing to note about Slate is that it is very configurable, and the idea is it has a very low starting price, but you can option it up to actually put a back seat in it and turn it into a small SUV, kind of like the old, Ford Broncos and things like that. But it's a 2-door only, which for some people will be a disincentive. But I think there's a genuine market for it. And right now, you can get online to buy one for a $50 deposit. And I think they've had, tens of thousands of those already. So, there's certainly interest in it.
So the price point is, what is it, just under $20,000?
Well, that's assuming that the federal $7,500 EV tax credit that goes to buyers of them continues. But even if it was revoked in some, Trumpian, dystopian, effort, it would still be, well under 30,000, closer to 25,000, and at that point, there is no real pickup truck competition at this time. Yep. Certainly, as Chinese vehicles that are cheaper are excluded through tariffs, and pretty much every other country's. Ford makes the Maverick, and that's probably its closest competition, but that's considerably more expensive too. Yeah. And also comes only as a 4-door, which compromises its bed space, so it's bigger and more expensive. But that's a really credible alternative, and it was ironic because everybody was saying, "Oh, nobody wants small trucks," but the Maverick has sold great, and they sold out as fast as they can build them.
Since Jamie mentioned it, when we come forward, I want to follow up with him on this notion of these tariffs and how these tariffs are going to impact the auto industry. He covers these issues every day, so I'm curious as to how, as we've talked about these tax tariffs, as Connie Rice referred to them earlier on today's program, how these tax tariffs are going to impact the auto industry. And I want to get his take on the implosion of the Tesla stock. Last I checked, the stock was down 71%. And so here we are talking about this new electric vehicle called Slate that's backed by Elon Musk. So backed by Jeff Bezos, rather. So the two oligarchs are going at it in another space, now in the EV space. So Musk has Tesla. Bezos is backing Slate. We talked a bit about what that's going to look like perhaps in the coming months and years. But that Tesla stock is way, way down. And I want to get Jamie's read of that. You're listening to progressive car critic Jamie Kitman right now on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Think about your mentors and idols, the people who inspire you the most. While it may look like they have all the answers, they don't. But they do know when to ask questions and seek the support they need. In a world that glorifies hyper-independence, it's easy to forget that we're all better with a support system. Therapy is a great way to find a consistent source of support in your life, so you can break free from the outdated belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. BetterHelp has experienced therapists ready to help you with challenges ranging from anxiety and depression to relationships and stress. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. You can even send your therapist a message anytime something comes up. Build your support system with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/ABCRadio today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/ABCRadio.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality because this is it. Every day, you wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial because yes, it is. Don't stay in bargaining where you're praying for a miracle and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down. Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
Tavis Smiley and Jamie Kitman, progressive car critic. We are talking about the EV race between Bezos and Musk. Musk, of course, has Tesla, and Bezos is out now with his support of a new EV called Slate. And we will see in the coming months what this competition sort of looks like. But two things I want to get to you, Jamie, with before I lose him at the top of the hour. So you mentioned these tariffs. I've talked about these tax tariffs in a variety of ways, but not so much about how they're going to impact the auto industry. What say you, Jamie Kitman?
Well, I mean, following the auto industry, I have to say that, regardless of what I think, the industry itself is in a utter tizzy about it. I mean, they're very upset, and Ford just said they were going to lose, several $1 billion from it every year going forward. But I mean, it's really hard to know what how it's finally going to shake down. Which, other than losing money, the thing that upsets the auto industry the most is uncertainty. They really like to know how it's going to be, in the next year or the next 2 years. They have to plan a lot of stuff years out. So it's basically being seen as a disaster, although ironically, the United Auto Workers, who are typically a progressive force, have been in favor of tariffs because the idea that it protects American jobs. Mm-hmm. But that's probably a little bit true, but there's a lot of contra-arguments that we don't have time to go into. But in general, it's expected to have a really negative effect. One thing to mention about Bezos is that he already has a large interest in a company called Rivian, which is a electric truck maker themselves. They make a larger, more expensive pickup truck and have a whole model line. They also make all the Amazon trucks in a little back scratching that he's able to do. But what it's done, I mean, this is just like another, sort of downward data point for Tesla to have this competition in the pickup truck field, but in general, you were talking about their stock price. It has been tanking both on the fact that they haven't replaced their models in a very long time. There's a widely held view by investors and other car companies that Musk has taken his eye off the ball, and of course, there's been the huge backlash to his political misadventures. Bezos, is no hero on the political front himself, but compared to Musk, he's like billionaire megalomaniac light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But a point that's always worth making, I may have made it the last time we spoke, is that if you're ever looking to the automobile industry for shared values or moral clarity, you're probably looking at asking the wrong questions.
No, point well taken. I just looked it up. I had Miles look it up. So the Tesla stock right now, I said down 71%. In terms of dollars, it is down $200 from its highest point. So whatever the highest point was, it's down $200 now from that, the Tesla stock. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Jamie, I guess the question is, one of my questions is whether or not Tesla would ever replace Elon Musk. He made the point a moment ago that many people believe he's taking his eye off the ball. That's one way to read it. But his the taking of his eye off the ball, connected to his politics alongside Donald Trump, has led to the tanking of this stock in Tesla, which raises again the question whether or not the board at Tesla would ever think about replacing Elon Musk to protect their own investments. Right? That's the question for Jamie Kitman when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
If you've struggled to lose weight in the past, this important message is for you because you could lose as much as 50 pounds or more with Zelfie. Zelfie makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelfie providers can prescribe FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight, like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. Plus, help get the medication covered by insurance, so it's as little as $0 a month.
The doctors are super helpful, and the meds have been a game changer. It's the first program I've had success with.
Before Zelfie, I was unable to lose weight, even though I was eating healthy and exercising 6 days a week. Zelfie helped me not only lose weight, but I feel so much better.
Text GOAL to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GOAL to 200-300. That's GOAL to 200-300. GOAL to 200-300.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Jamie Kitman, just for clarity here, I mentioned that the stock was down, Tesla stock down $200 from its highest point. The highest stock price for Tesla stock was $488. That number sits right now at $273. The highest price again for their stock was $488. It now sits at $273, so it has tanked dramatically. I think this is the exit question, and certainly one of them, Jamie Kitman. Clearly, Elon Musk has been the greatest asset at Tesla, and clearly he now represents the gravest risk at Tesla. How would Tesla go about replacing Elon Musk if he continues to engage move the way he is and continues to tank the stock of the company?
Sure, that certainly is being watched closely. There's basically two contradictory reports. I think the Wall Street Journal reported that that the board was looking at replacements, candidates, which almost implied, since they were handpicked by Musk, that he was thinking of leaving. But then he denied that the next day. So it's really hard to know. A lot of people Tesla watchers think that it's a market correction because the shares were wildly overvalued. Tesla was worth more than GM, Ford, Mercedes, Volkswagen, Stellantis, all the Toyota, Nissan, everybody combined, which was kind of ridiculous given that they were selling, less than, 10% of one of the big companies, of annual sales. So, but really, I think it'll come down to what, how Musk's adventures with Starlink and SpaceX go, and what he wants to do, and what, if the market really turns on them further. Their sales have been going down, and they're having a lot of trouble with, foreign countries. Their situation in China is precarious, which is the bulk of their sales outside of the United States. Europe has been a disaster for them. So, I would predict that at the very least the shares will probably go down further, and that there'll be mounting pressure on Musk to leave.
Yep. So my extra question for real is simply this: whether or not this new Slate pickup truck that Bezos is backing is the Elon Musk Tesla killer.
I don't think it's a killer, but I think it could be. If Tesla is, if the Musk empire is kind of crumbling under 1,000 cuts. This is, several dozen of the cuts could be this vehicle. There's a long way to go between, having a great idea that people like and actually making money with it. But, it really, if you have deep pockets attached, you have that advantage. I mean, Musk benefited from the fact that here was this person who was making a lot of money, much of it from tax credits sold to internal combustion engine companies. But Bezos has deep pockets, and if you start generating cash, and it's no longer in the realm of vaporware and promise and the future, what might happen, the markets respond to that. So we will see.
We will see indeed. Progressive car critic Jamie Kitman, I appreciate your insights as always. Talk to you soon, my friend. All the best to you.
Okay, pleasure. Thanks, Tavis.
Good to have you on, my friend. When we come forward, a conversation in the next hour with Taj Mahal and KBLA about their new project. They reunited once again after the success of their original collaboration, TajMo, for a new one called Room on the Porch. We'll make room for KBLA and Taj Mahal when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says he's not sure what Canada's prime minister wants to talk about when the two meet.
I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to speak with President Trump at the White House today. This will be Carney's first trip to Washington since he was elected last week. British-Nigerian nursing student Elizabeth Tamilore Odunsi, 23 years old, was fatally stabbed in her Houston apartment just days before graduation. Her roommate, Chester Grant, was charged with her murder after an argument, reportedly over their cats. Grant was booked into jail after a failed suicide attempt and charged with murder. And Floyd Mayweather is suing Business Insider for $100 million, claiming defamation over a report that questioned a major real estate deal he was linked to. He says the article was false and damaging to his reputation. Business Insider has responded, calling the lawsuit meritless and vowing to defend its reporting. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Is this the tether? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron is co-chair of the Met Gala event that took place Monday night in New York, but he was unable to attend. LeBron had to stay home in L.A. because of his injured left knee. LeBron has a grade 2 medial collateral sprain in his knee and is facing a 3 to 6 week recovery. No surgery was required. While keeping his knee propped up, LeBron has more time to think about whether he wants to return for a 23rd season. Clippers president Lawrence Frank said he wants Kawhi Leonard and James Harden to remain a part of the team's foundation for next season. Leonard is 33. Harden turns 36 in August. The Boston Celtics' overtime loss to New York Monday night should be a lesson for all coaches. The Celtics missed a playoff record 45 three-pointers. At some point, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla should have told his players to stop shooting threes and get closer to the basket. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 and the California Black Chamber of Commerce invite you to the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. Get certified and register as a new bidder. Sell products and services to the state. Learn about pre-bid events and more, and it's all free. All you have to do is sign up at www.calbcc.org. That's www.calbcc.org. Registration for the Small Business Development Workshop, How to Do Business with California Government, begins at 9 a.m. and the workshop concludes at 1 p.m. on Thursday, May 15th at Victory Park in Pasadena, 2575 Paloma Street. This is a community call to action from the California Black Chamber of Commerce and KBLA Talk 1580.
than honey, brighter than the sun, softer than a silk pillow. You're my only one, my darling, my dear, my angel, my hope, my heart, my time. Please don't be a stranger, my darling, my dear, my life.
That little ditty is called My Darling, My Dear. I am thrilled to be joined in this hour by two legendary genre-bending blues men, Taj Mahal and KBLA. They have collaborated once again. It's been about 8 years, as I recall, since they got together for that first project called TajMo, Grammy-winning project. So they're back together again, almost a decade later, for this new project called Room on the Porch, which drops later this month. Again, that track that you listen to right now is called My Darling, My Dear. We'll play a few tracks for you, give you a little taste as we move through this hour. But I was saying at the top of our show today that I was just had the honor of hanging out with my friend Taj Mahal just a couple weeks ago in New Orleans at the Jazz and Heritage Festival. And let me just tell you, Taj killed that thing, man. I mean, I've seen this guy more times than I can count, and I've never seen him better. He rocked this tent, this huge tent. He rocked it at the Jazz and Heritage Festival in New Orleans a couple weeks ago, and so I am honored to once again have the blessing of being in conversation with him one more again, and to be joined in this conversation by our brother, TajMo. Taj Mahal, how are you, sir? Let me try Kev.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Hey, Taj, I hear you now. How are you, man?
I'm good.
It's good to hear your voice. TajMo, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, sir. How you doing?
Man, as I say all the time, if I complained, I'd be an ingrate, Kev. I'd be an ingrate, man. I am doing well, and I'm delighted to be in conversation with the two of you. Let me just start here. I mentioned a moment ago that I just saw Taj in New Orleans, and he slayed that thing at the festival. But I have not had a chance publicly, in his presence at least. I mentioned this when it was announced, but I've not had a chance to say this publicly. But let me just commence this conversation by offering a huge congratulations to Taj Mahal for recently being honored with the Recording Academy's coveted Lifetime Achievement Award. To my mind, he should have won it a long time ago, but I ain't going to complain about that. They finally got around to giving Taj Mahal the Recording Academy's most coveted award, the Lifetime Achievement Award. Taj, congrats on that. Tell me about that night and how that felt, sir.
Well, thank you so much. It was a wonderful night, and I chose that night to be accompanied by two of my lovely daughters, my daughter Diva and my daughter Zoe, and they flew up and designed their dresses. They wanted to know what their dad was wearing, and they coordinated themselves with me, and I just felt from that point on, it's like when we won with the TajMo before, we both of us got up there and did what we did. We played some music, but I said from here on forward, going forward, I'm gonna always show up if there are any awards with family on intact in tow.
Yeah,
man, it's wonderful. I'm glad to that to be acknowledged and recognized. But it's all about the work, and that's why we're doing what we're doing right now.
Yeah. Now, you were clean as a Sunday chitlin, man, or you're clean as the Board of Health. Your daughters looked nice, but they did not do you, man. You were clean that particular night. And it was a beautiful thing to see the three of y'all together in all the photos that were circulating all over social media. Let me just ask you, again, it's about the work, but one other question about that. When you look back now, I mean, obviously you're still doing great work, and we're going to talk about some of that great work in this hour. With TajMo and this new project called Room on the Porch. But when you look back now, you got some years behind you, Taj, you look back on your career, what do you make of what you have created, what you've curated, what you have fashioned, my friend?
Well, the main thing is that I the impetus from my, like I said, when I did the Savoy thing, I said that the thing was about my parents. My parents put me on the right track.
Right.
To be doing something with my life that was of value to us as a people globally and diasporically.
Mm-hmm.
And that that you have this opportunity that your ancestors have given to you, and you have to do something with it. You can't just wear it out in the street. Yeah. So what I see that I've been able to accomplish and accrue a tremendous amount of music and ideas that people weren't trying to do because they were trying to, they're working with another idea of what music was supposed to be about. To me, it was communication. It's the language of our universe, our intercontinental language, our interhuman language, and it's the most important thing that I could be involved in. So I've been able to live a life as an artist. My father was unable to do that. He was an incredible musician.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, an amazing musician that, I heard, things from Ella Fitzgerald and other people that talked about him. But he chose to have a family and raise a family.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose to be an artist in this lifetime, and I'm happy that I've been able to do that and sustain my family and continue to be excited about making music as a senior, as an elder, and this project is another, big light that's shining out there again. Continue to shine the light.
Well, I'm glad you made that choice to be an artist, and we have been blessed by the brilliance of your work. We are all the better for your artistic genius, and I certainly can't imagine my life without the music of Taj Mahal on the soundtrack. And so I wanted to just start. I don't think KBLA has a problem with that. I wanted to just start giving Taj Mahal his props on receiving the Recording Academy's coveted Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, for the rest of the hour, we're going to talk to KBLA and Taj Mahal about this new project. It's called Room on the Porch. I'm delighted to have them right now together on Tavis Smiley.
Please don't be a stranger. Don't be a stranger. My darling, my dear, my life.
From the Mert Park with love, this is Tavis Smiley.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready?
Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Who among us doesn't like black music? But Kendrick is right. This moment is so much bigger than music. These are serious times. We've got serious problems, and we need serious people who understand that slogans are not solutions. When you want substantial and sober analysis about things that matter to you and the ones you love, this is where you turn. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Hello, friend, I mean you. You ain't got to be shy or cool. Grab yourself a chair, set yourself down. Hello, friend, I mean you. You ain't got to be shy or cool. Grab yourself a chair, set yourself down, it's okay.
You can probably smell that cornbread cooking. Say this cakes, ooh, they so good looking. There's a plenty of food, go ahead and fix you a plate.
All of our friends are now your friends. That's how we do it here. Stay as long as you like, that's alright. We got plenty of beer.
We got chicken, we got fruit, we got...
I'm Tavis Smiley. Glad to have you with us in this hour of our program. We are honored to be joined by KBLA and Taj Mahal. They've gotten together for another project. I love that first project, TajMo, Grammy-winning project, and now they are back together with a project called Room on the Porch. That is the title track that you're listening to right now, called Room on the Porch. They're doing a tour for this project. It kicks off, I think, later this month, May the 28th, as I recall, at New York's Town Hall. So they're going to be in over a dozen cities over the summer touring for this particular project, and I'm delighted to have them on this program. KBLA, again, good to have you on. Thank you for the time. Tell me about that track, Room on the Porch. We'll talk more broadly about the project, but tell me about that track first, Keb.
Well, that track, Room on the Porch, is a magical song. It came about in the studio because we went in the studio with one song and a couple ideas, and that song sprouted out when we invited Ruby Manfu, who was the guest vocalist on there as well, to come and co-write with us for this record. And then out of that, you know, she started this Room on the Porch thing, and immediately when I heard it, I said, "Oh, there it is." there is our title cut right there. I don't know, it was just so obvious, and just from then on, that kind of really, we were probably about midway through it, maybe a third of the way through it, but that really set the tone. For the whole record.
Yeah.
You know.
What's it like? I would never be an artist. I am envious of artists because, as Taj knows and my friends in music know, I wish that God had blessed me with that talent. Because if I could sing and play, y'all niggas couldn't tell me nothing. I'm gonna tell you right now. If I could do what KBLA and Taj Mahal do, y'all couldn't tell me nothing, man.
Okay, I'm gonna walk now.
Yeah. I've been blessed to do what I do, and I try to do it rather well. I do it to the best of my ability every day. But if I could sing and play, y'all can tell me nothing. But what's it like walking into a studio by your own recollection, and you've only got like one or two projects in mind, and you end up with a full project? I mean, it's one thing. I mean, when I walk in the studio every day, I know who I'm talking to. I know what I'm talking about. I've done my research, and I'm ready to go, but I know what I'm dealing with. I can't imagine walking into a studio knowing you're going to work on a project, but you ain't really done nothing yet. What's that like, Kev?
It's kind of frightening, but I took a couple of examples from other people beforehand. I was watching some things about, like, with Queen and other people who had went in, David Bowie went in the studio and done records with no plans. Mm-hmm. Also, I was very impressed one night in UCLA, in the venue there. I saw Bobby McFerrin come up and improvise a whole show.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, so I said, well, if you can improvise a whole show, just everything, the whole thing, just him by himself, improvising a show. I guess we can make a record without having much plans.
Yeah. How would you say, Kev, that this project, Room on the Porch, builds on or is different from, you tell me, I'm not trying to box you in, but just compare and contrast. We know what we got, for those of us who are fans, we know what the TajMo project was. How does Room on the Porch differ from that original collaboration, 8 years ago, I guess?
Yeah. Well, the similarities are that it's Taj and I.
Right.
What's different is the times we're living in. 8 years later makes a big difference. I mean, every time, we're involved with a project, I'm sure Taj can vouch on this, that the time dictates what you're talking about. The time that's going on in the culture, in our society, and what's going on in our personal lives really dictates what comes out.
Mm-hmm. No, I
talk about that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And one of the things that was real interesting about coming in was that I just had a couple of guitar melodies that I've been finger picking on the guitar for quite a while.
Yeah.
And no lyrics. One of the things that happens to me is that the lyrics have got to come to me in a certain kind of way. Where that's one of the things about being with Kevin, is that he really has these people all around him that in Nashville that he can call up and say, hey, come on by, follow on by, we're working on something, see what you hear. And I had been doing that. I would have songs that would sit around for 20, 25 years. And I never thought about, venturing out writing with anybody else or doing that. So he's opened that kind of whole thing up with me, especially when we first started with the first TajMo.
Right.
So this was that I was really shocked, and then just like he said, as soon as I heard what Ruby did to that song, I was blown away.
Yeah.
And then Kevin's production on it, and everybody. I mean, one of the things that's happening with everybody now is the people saying, "Man, the production is so wonderful."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kev mentioned something a moment ago, Taj, that I want to build on with you. He talked about how every project, each of the projects that y'all have done together too now, have been dictated by the times in which we live. I think that makes sense to me and makes sense to this audience.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably true. That's probably true for most artists, that the project is dictated in part by the times in which we live. Let me just unpack that for a second, because we are living in some interesting times. We talked earlier on this program, in our first hour, in fact, with one of our regular contributors, Connie Rice, about the times that we live in. I start every day talking politics, and Taj and I certainly have talked politics many times in our private conversations. And so here we are in this moment now where Donald Trump is and that administration is doing everything they can to erase the contributions of black folk to this country. The great W.B. Du Bois once asked that question: would America have been America without her Negro people? We know the answer is a resounding no. America wouldn't be without the contributions of black folk in every field of human endeavor. But those are the times that we live in when we see the way that the Trump administration is moving, number one. In our second hour today, we talked about the Met Gala last night, which was about Black Dandyism. The Met Gala in New York last night, celebrating 300 years of black fashion. Why do I raise that? Because I saw a quote the other day, Taj, and I always ask people if they actually said it, because I don't want to misquote you if you didn't actually say this. But I saw a quote that I think you made, and I'll read it now. If you take the African imprint out of Western music for the last 500 years, there's almost nothing left. Talk about the times that we live in. If you take the African imprint out of Western music for the last 500 years, there's almost nothing left. If you said that, unpack that for me, Taj.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like there are other people that are involved in this too, because but the imprint, the swing from 2 and 4 and 4, 4, 5, 8, 6, 8, all that stuff came in terms of the music here. Presently, there is a movie out called Sinners, and that movie encompasses everything that Kevin Mo and I have been doing, in so many ways. It's really calling the names and the spirits and the people up who really put this imprint in the world. And it was a Neil, it was the pressure cooker that we were in that created what is the backbone and the solid notes and the river, the rhythm that it all flows on comes from us in the world. I can be anywhere in the world with a guitar, and if I sit down, I can play 2 notes, and they'll turn around and point to me and say, American. Because they know that. And the blues, I mean, no matter where it is, so we really, there really isn't any new music. The sad part about it is that because of, what we didn't know was how to protect that and make it be something so that even if a steamroller comes along, you still got it. You still got what belongs to you. Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand that it was given up for, to corporate interests. And so now they own when you can hear it, when you can't. Yeah. But that's what we've done is repackage it so you can still hear it.
Yeah.
And if you talk to me, I'll tell you where you got to go to find it, because that's what my job is as a griot. And the same thing with KBLA. We're the modern day American griots.
Yeah. I want to talk to KBLA in just a second here about all these different genres that you guys touch on when you do come together. So Kev, stand by for that just for a second. But Taj, while you're on the microphone there, I'm still thinking about this history that you are, again, a griot of, and I always learn so much when I talk to you. I am curious as to why and what it means for you in your performances that I've seen, again, more times than I can count now, that you tell the backstory of songs. And there are a couple songs that you tend to do on your playlist that are over 100 years old. And I note when I see you that you always take the time to explain to the audience that the song you're about to do is this old, that old. What's that about for you?
Well, yeah, because most of what they're hearing is something that's been manufactured within a year of their ear hearing it. It's like by the time like this is what's kind of like throwing a monkey wrench into young people trying to learn how to do the music. By the time they hear something that they're inspired to do, it's already anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half old. Very rarely is it something. What we did was go in the studio as two men who have this incredible, are aware of the knowledge of this incredible reservoir, and resonant chamber and history and artistry of music that's out here. So we have that all the time. All of musical creation is available to us.
Yeah.
So we can. This is one of the things about jazz was the musicians were able to be inspired while they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
And play that inspiration right in front of you.
Yeah.
But we're able to go and do this. But see, the whole trick is that's the 500 years. But then you got to connect up to your cousins, who are the Mandinkas and the Fulanis and the Bambara, who are on the other side, who go from time immemorial to that 500-year point. And that's what I did in the 90s.
Yeah.
I made that connection.
Yeah.
And because it was in my dreams as a youngster, thinking about Africa as a youngster, wondering why I hear, and beginning to start hearing that finger picking sound, which was back in the 40s.
Yeah.
I would hear that and go, and it wasn't much, just a little bit. And I kept following until I found the source of what it is. What are the instruments? What do they look like? Where does it fit in our culture back there? How is it fitting in our culture now?
Yeah.
These are all important things,
Yeah.
That's all on that heavy-headed stuff. When it comes down to the music, it's supposed to move people right then. And also, I make sure that people are aware that the way the music is to be played is that the audience is a part of the performance.
Yeah.
See, oftentimes, the audience is sitting there absorbing everything off the stage. No.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of it too, looking and seeing. But you are a part of the performance.
No, I get it. I got 90 seconds here, Taj. I want to ask you one quick follow-up, and then when we come forward, I'm going to get to that question about different genres that I hear when you guys come together. I'll put that to Kev and get his take on it in just a second. But in 60 seconds, you mentioned Sinners. I didn't see that coming in this conversation. I love the connection you made to the movie Sinners. Did you see Sinners or the blues in Sinners as a portal between this world and the next world, the next generation?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
most definitely.
Yeah.
Hey, I think they pulled the covers up a whole lot of stuff in that movie.
Yeah. It is.
It's the most, to me. It's one of the most. I'm so thrilled to be here with what I've been doing all my life to get here and have something like that show up on its own.
Yeah.
I could. If it was up to me to make that movie, I would make that movie 50 years ago.
That's high praise. That's high praise. Ryan Coogler, if you're listening, that's high praise from Taj Mahal. When he puts his imprimatur, his stamp of approval on what you've done, that's high cotton, as we say down south. Sinners is an amazing film, and again, we are all celebrating the record-breaking success of this film, and that's to say nothing of the fact that 25 years from now, all the ownership rights for this project revert back to Ryan Coogler. I ain't mad at him, and apparently neither is Taj Mahal. When we come forward, we'll continue our conversation with Taj Mahal and KBLA celebrating their new project called Room on the Porch. I've got some questions for KBLA when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
That's all right. Enjoy the atmosphere.
Now you get it. Now you see real Southern hospitality.
Helping to stretch your moral and political imagination. This is Tavis Smiley.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says he's not sure what Canada's Prime Minister wants to talk about when the two meet.
I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to speak with President Trump at the White House today. This will be Carney's first trip to Washington since he was elected last week. British Nigerian nursing student Elizabeth Tamilore Odunsi, 23 years old, was fatally stabbed in her Houston apartment just days before graduation. Her roommate, Chester Grant, was charged with her murder after an argument, reportedly over their cats. Grant was booked into jail after a failed suicide attempt and charged with murder. And Floyd Mayweather is suing Business Insider for $100 million, claiming defamation over a report that questioned a major real estate deal he was linked to. He says the article was false and damaging to his reputation. Business Insider has responded, calling the lawsuit meritless and vowing to defend its reporting. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
LeBron is co-chair of the Met Gala event that took place Monday night in New York, but he was unable to attend. LeBron had to stay home in L.A. because of his injured left knee. LeBron has a grade 2 medial collateral sprain in his knee and is facing a 3 to 6 week recovery. No surgery was required. While keeping his knee propped up, LeBron has more time to think about whether he wants to return for a 23rd season. Clippers president Lawrence Frank said he wants Kawhi Leonard and James Harden to remain a part of the team's foundation for next season. Leonard is 33. Harden turns 36 in August. The Boston Celtics' overtime loss to New York Monday night should be a lesson for all coaches. The Celtics missed a playoff record 45 three-pointers. At some point, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla should have told his players to stop shooting threes and get closer to the basket. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. With so many shows on our station weekdays and weekends, it's hard for me to keep track of all the guests who are actually in studio on any given day. I wish I'd known in advance that LADA Nathan Hochman was coming in studio for a recent interview. Had I known, I would have loved to have personally greeted him and then asked him why LA City Council member Curran Price is being criminally prosecuted for allegations of misconduct similar to the conflict of interest violations for which former City Council member Kevin De Leon is only being fined. What's that about, Mr. DA? In fairness to Mr. Hochman, it was former DA George Gascon who actually filed felony charges against Councilman Price. I opined then on how these criminal charges against Price did not pass the smell test. I was concerned then that this was yet another wayward prosecution of a high-profile black elected, not to mention a waste of taxpayer money. I am even more convinced now that this is a hot mess. To be clear, neither you or I want a bunch of self-serving, greedy, conflict of interest criminals managing the people's business inside LA City Hall. But we also don't want selective or targeted prosecution of black politicians. We've seen that movie before, and we don't need a sequel. It's hard to watch Kevin De Leon get away with paying an $18,000 fine for repeated ethics violations, what he calls an oversight, and at the same time, watch the DA's office continue its criminal prosecution of Kern Price for issues allegedly involving his wife's clients. Motions, I might add, that were passed unanimously by the LA City Councilman. What are you saying, Tavis? I'm glad you asked. DA Hochman did not start this inquisition, but he certainly has the power to stop it. I have said it before, and I will say it again. Fundamental fairness. In the absence of fundamental fairness, we experience a cascade of deteriorating conditions. The erosion of trust, the weakening of social cohesion, alienation, marginalization, the legitimacy of authority diminishes, cynicism and disengagement grow, and ultimately, people abandon civic participation altogether. Fundamental fairness, Mr. Hochman, that's all we ask. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
BET and PBS, The Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know the United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time? Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
Made fresh daily in Leimert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
I'm Tavis Smiley. And that's Taj Mahal. It's blues, Give You Back Your Soul. One of the tracks on the new album, Room on the Porch, from Taj Mahal and TajMo. They've done it again. That TajMo project that came out almost a decade ago was amazing. I wore that thing out, and I'm going to wear this one out. It's called again Room on the Porch. They've come back together for another collaboration. I am honored to be in conversation right now with Taj Mahal and TajMo. TajMo, tell me about that track, sir.
That track, that's Taj. Taj wrote that, performed that, and sang it, and it's just like it's a song only Taj can do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I was there. I got to ride shotgun alongside him while I was recording it. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
And that's a very unique song. And the saxophone solo by Jeff Coffin.
Yeah.
Who's from the Dave Matthews Band. It's totally outstanding.
Yeah.
It's really
outstanding solo. I mean, I hadn't heard a horn bark like that in a long time.
I hadn't heard a horn bark like that in a long time. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm going to put you on the spot, Kev. You first. What is it, of all the people that you could collaborate with, and certainly you've collaborated with others, but what is it that you most appreciate about your collaborations with Taj Mahal?
The thing I appreciate most about it is that, I began with Taj Mahal, The spark of whatever I have now started with Taj Mahal when I was a youngster and going to Compton High School, and I saw Taj come and perform, and watched him ride along and do his thing for years and for decades, and really hold up the bloodstained banner of the blues, in a way, in a very classy and profound way, in a broad way. And when I got a chance to meet him in 1993, actually meet him, I was really, I just wanted to be around. I just wanted to be around Taj and just really understand what he did and why he did it.
Yeah.
And the music, and it's really an honor. Taj is he's like if he wasn't Taj Mahal, if no one had discovered him, he'd be a cultural college professor at Harvard. Yeah, people don't really know how deep Taj is.
Yeah. I hear you, man. You used the phrase a moment ago I ain't heard in years, and it took me right back to my little Pentecostal church. That phrase, bloodstained. We used to sing that song all the time. We are soldiers in the army. We have to fight, although we have to cry. We have to hold up the bloodstained banner. We got to hold it up until we die. You took me back on that one, Cam. I hadn't thought about that track in a long, long time. So, Taj, I'll put you on the spot now. What is it that you love so much about collaborating with your protege, Kev Mo?
Well, it's just, for like nearly, let me see, when I was 17, it was about 20, over 20 years before, well, longer than 20 years before I saw somebody on the horizon, coming up the road who really saw the light of what needed to be done with the music. And I mean, I welcomed him in with open arms because, oftentimes people are, really territorial about what's happening, particularly in this construct and in this Western society and identity. Oftentimes, rather than say, come on, man, the water's fine, there's plenty of room. There's a lot of fish in the sea. No, they're gonna be trying to block and do all kinds of stuff like that. And then he got it. He got it. He got that. The main thing for me is exciting is that he got it. He understood what was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
You're supposed to pick up that banner and go for yourself.
Yeah.
And get your own voice in there. Bring your voice in. And so I can work with him without having to we don't have to do a lot of talking. And this, I mean, we write notes out on paper? Mm-hmm. No, not really. I mean, that's not putting no shade on that.
Yeah.
That's another way to get there. But I'm just saying for us, is that which came first, the music or the paper?
Yeah.
So it allows me to work. No, I'm serious, man. It allows me to work with somebody I can be totally open with musically. We can do all things. We can talk about things. There's so many levels of communication around this whole thing,
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. And then what he does with me is that his precision in the recording process and all the things that he does, for me, it's really exciting. Because I cultivated the rough around the edges kind of thing, and just said, hey, like most native indigenous people, they'll do something that could be perfect, but they always put some imperfection in it. So if they're doing beadwork, and everything's like all cream colored in here, they'll put like a black and a red and a green bead in there, just because it's only the creator is perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And so but working with him, man, It's really exciting. I listen back and go like, now that's what music's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
And these days people come out to this music and they're going like, whoa, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We can definitely use this. We can definitely feel this. You know,
that's a powerful point. I hadn't thought about that way, Taj. It's a powerful point. I love the anecdote you shared about perfection. I received that, and I'm glad you shared that. Talk to me, Kev, about all these different genres that y'all touch on when y'all do get together for these collaborations.
Well, they're all genres that come out of the American music experience, that is rooted in all kinds of cultures that have come from all over the world to be in this melting pot. And it's no accident that the African experience, like Taj says, is at the root of it is a very important piece. It's not the only piece, but it's a very important piece, And so, I mean, church, and like I said, I never had the privilege of performing in church, but I had to sit there whether I liked it or not.
that's why you know about that bloodstained banner. Then that's where you got that from. Yeah,
I took it all in.
Yeah.
I took it all in. Yeah. And at the church, we go to a relative's house and they'd be putting on like T-Bone Walker and B.B. King.
Yeah.
Lowell Fulsom and making Sunday dinner and cooking around there and all that's culture and the blues and R&B, the Motown sound.
Yeah.
All of those things and the jazz and like Miles Davis, Wayne Shorter, Herbie Hancock, Eric Dolphy, there's a whole bunch of music that is rooted in that thing. And like Ty said, if the African hadn't been here, the music would have been a whole different experience. I feel like we were needed, and I feel like that our people being here, we needed to be here, and they had to drag us over here, and we paid the price. I've been talking about in the song, we paid the price to be here, and so, but we had to be here in order for the American experience to experiment, to work, and to be what it is, and to highlight all these problems in the world, and for it to become as great as it is as a nation. And so, I feel I'm proud.
Yeah. As you should be. You should be proud, and I love the fact that you got it honest, and I love the fact that the two of you connected with each other, and I love the fact that whenever they get together, something good is going to happen. Can anything good come out of a collaboration between Taj and KBLA? Absolutely, and the good is called Room on the Porch, the new collaboration from Taj Mahal and KBLA. Delighted to have them on Tavis Smiley right now.
California to the Carolinas. Everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
The revolution will not be televised.
What's up? It is Killer Mike, also known as Michael Render, and I'm encouraging you to listen to more, not less, of Truth Time with Dr. Cornel West and Senator Nina Turner on KBLA Talk 1580.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
If you missed our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall, the Altadena Eden Fire, 100 Days and Counting, you missed an evening of reverence, reflection, and reality.
You gotta live in the reality because this is it. Every day, you wake up, is this my life? Don't stay in denial because yes, it is. Don't stay in bargaining where you're praying for a miracle and if it wouldn't have happened, then this is what I would have done. It did.
Our panel participants kept it real. Really real.
I think, number one, it's amazing to me how we ignore systemic racism in our community, and as a people, we've apologized for so much, but when will we stop apologizing for what we have paid for? Because the truth of the matter is we paid for this.
You can always count on KBLA Talk 1580 to give it to you straight, no chaser. When you love folk, you tell them the truth. Seeking the truth, speaking the truth. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we don't black down. Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Wait a minute.
I heard KBLA say, wait a minute. So let that ride, Miles. So, Kev, please forgive me. I beg your forgiveness, but this is a Taj Mahal, Tavis Smiley tradition. I had never, ever talked to Taj Mahal without playing just a bit of this track. He knows it's one of my favorites from way back in his corpus. As a matter of fact, Taj could not see me, of course, but I about lost my mind, Taj, when you played this in New Orleans. I didn't see that coming on the playlist, and you know I went crazy when you started playing this, Taj.
You ain't gotta tell me.
I just love this track, and he doesn't play it everywhere, but he played it. That's enough, Miles. I just want to get it out. It's just part of our tradition. I can't talk to Taj without playing a little bit of that. He has so many things he's done, of course, that I love over the years, but I just love Left Me a Mule to Ride. I can't do it like Taj does it, but I just love that track, and so I just always weave it in. That's from like 1968 or something like that. But the new project from KBLA and Taj Mahal is called Room on the Porch, and I have been delighted to have had them on for this hour, and I got a few more minutes to go and a few more things I want to cover. So it's one thing to be in studio, Keb, with Taj creating this magic. It's another thing to get out on the road and tour this thing, and y'all got a bunch of dates this summer starting, I think, on May the 28th at New York's Town Hall, and you're going to crisscross the country. What's it like when you get a chance to do this collaboration thing on stage together on tour?
Well, the last time we were on tour, it was really, it was like a dream come true every night for me. I'm standing there next to the maestro, and I'm like, whoa. I look over there and go, oh. Sometimes I miss my line, and he look at me like, I'm going like, well, I'm really here. And
you got caught up in it, huh? You got caught up in it.
Okay. Yeah, because but it's you're in the presence of greatness. You're in the presence of something unique and special, and I don't take it lightly.
Yeah.
And once we did the last tour, I was like, we did that. We made it through that, and it was all right. And then to do another now I got to go through the whole process of like, oh my God. Yeah. How do I measure up? How do I?
Oh yeah. No, y'all.
I'm not supposed to do this.
No, y'all are amazing together. When we come forward in our remaining moments, I do want to Kev's point. I do want to ask Taj. Taj has done this for a long time. I mentioned that Katie track I played came out in like 68 or something. But he's been at this a long time, and I've talked to a number of artists over the years, certainly over the last few years. More to the point, I've talked to a lot of artists since the pandemic. Many of whom, when they get to be as chronologically gifted as Taj Mahal is, they stop touring. They'll still do their thing, but they don't tour. And yet here Taj Mahal is still on the road and going out again to promote and push this project, Room on the Porch. And so there must be something that Taj gets out of all this touring, because it ain't easy. I mean, he's on stage, he does his thing, but just getting there is sometimes trauma and drama filled. Why is Taj still doing it? I'll ask him that when we come forward in our remaining moments with KBLA and Taj Mahal on Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good.
Yeah, man.
Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Sometimes he fails at fitting in, but we're okay with that. You're inside the Tavis Smiley Show.
Stay by your side so faithfully. I could have worn a sign, said beware of me. I never wonder, no, I never strayed, and nobody got by when I was at the gate. But you could mesmerize me with a barrel of fire, go sneak another man who was tearing a wire. Maybe what we had was just a pile of old time, and I'm a junkyard dog. A junkyard dog.
That's the name of it. That's the name of it, Junkyard Dog, one of the tracks on this new project called Room on the Porch from Taj Mahal and Kev Mo. All right, Taj Mahal, you're the maestro, so Kev Mo and I will give you the last word in this conversation that I've enjoyed immensely for this hour of our program. You've been at this a long time, man, and I see you getting on and off these stages all across the country. Why are you still doing this, Taj Mahal?
Because of the music, man. I mean, and because of what my ancestors sent me here to do. As a griot and coming from the mother country, the mother continent, excuse me, and mother countries, over there. This is what you do. Yeah. You come on the stage. You're born to do this. Yeah. And oftentimes I saw people as a youngster growing up who were the most natural and amazing musicians, but because of circumstance, they never got a chance just to do that, to be that artist. Sure. As I was saying earlier, my dad chose to raise a big family and never pursue his art beyond before I was born, and kept it up through records and had a piano in the house and whatnot, as a youngster growing up. So my idea was to be an artist. I thought of it as being an artist. And now I realize that as time got on, I was carrying out a traditional role, where once it's handed to you, you got it till you till you get to pass it on to somebody else.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you accepted the mantle. I'm glad you stepped into your calling, your avocation. And as I said earlier, I can't imagine my life without the music of Taj Mahal and TajMo, for that matter, on the soundtrack. And I'm thrilled to have had this opportunity to talk to them once again. The new project is called Room on the Porch. They're touring everywhere this summer. Not everywhere, but a number of dates, starting again May 25th. At Town Hall in New York, and you can go to either of their websites, Taj's or Keb's, and get all the dates that they'll be touring this summer for Room on the Porch. TajMo, good to have you on, my friend. I appreciate you. You stay strong now.
Thank you for having us, Taj.
My pleasure. Taj Mahal, you know I love talking to you anytime, man. I appreciate you, my friend.
Well, thank you much, Tavis, and same with you, my brother.
All right, we will talk soon. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow to do it again. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.
Protect me something you could live without. Thought I was the king and your cancer turned down. I'm just a junkyard dog.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. President Trump says he's not sure what Canada's prime minister wants to talk about when the two meet.
I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to speak with President Trump at the White House today. This will be Carney's first trip to Washington since he was elected last week. British-Nigerian nursing student Elizabeth Tamilore Odunsi, 23 years old, was fatally stabbed in her Houston apartment just days before graduation. Her roommate, Chester Grant, was charged with her murder after an argument, reportedly over their cats. Grant was booked into jail after a failed suicide attempt and charged with murder.